Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
Hey, it's a barbershop edition. Look at this. Hey, look at this.
Hey, listen, I tell you what, man.
Barbershop edition, baby.
Shout out to, put the hat on, Jason. Put the hat on.
There we go.
Ah, look at that.
We ain't even allowed wearing hats. Just put the hat on.
Exclusive apparel right here. My
These
boy
guys
G.
told me.
Bush.
These guys told me I look like a serial killer.
Oh,
with
you
the
do.
hat on, so.
You do. Shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all wearing the gear, man.
That's right. By the
I
way,
don't have any gear.
Would
You
it have
didn't
been
give it to me.
appropriate? Do I need to get to wear this next time? Should I the close up on this T-shirt here? I feel like I should buy a chain
Oh, you gotta have a
so
chain.
that I can be matching.
Can you imagine Bull with a
By
chain?
the way,
That's what I started
By the
last.
way, that is my mascot.
Yeah.
So
Paxton, right?
Yeah, it's Paxton. So probably.
Is that a whistle? He's got a whistle.
That's a whistle.
I got a chain and a whistle.
Because Paxton knows, it goes off Bo knows,
Yeah.
and he is the sports aficionado. He knows
There you go.
everything. So he has takes it. Paxton will be alive and well in about 6 months.
By the way, shockingly, when I was in college, I wore hemp necklaces. Could you believe that?
You was one of them dudes?
I was one of them dudes.
No way.
Dude.
I swear to God.
You gotta find some type of picture.
I gotta
hemp choker.
I gotta find a picture of me wearing hemp necklaces. I loved it. And then the day I graduated, I cut them all off.
We need to get Bull a bedazzled whistle like that.
Yeah,
Where he can
we
just
need a
blow
bedazzled-
when Jay says something out of line or he
Yeah.
disagrees. He just
Oh, he would.
Oh,
like a
don't
blow.
do that.
Oh,
He's
this
just
is
blowing
this
whistles
about to
for
go
2 hours.
crazy. He gonna be blowing whistles at people walking across the street.
By the way, speaking of my past, my 4th and 6th grade teacher, Ken Brown, is going to be on the show with us tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. 4th and
It
6th.
is great. He was my 4th and 6th grade teacher.
But don't worry. We get the barbershop is very generous. We will. Everybody will have gear. I've
There
already
you go.
taken their order. So. Yeah.
Wait a minute now.
Speaking of being a member,
Yes.
make sure you become a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. First of all, subscribe, hit the like bell, and you'll get all the alerts when we do post-game shows and all the other stuff. And then, of course, you become in the starters tier where you get an emoji of Mike looking like, I don't know, he just walked in on his parents having sex or something like that. And
you can't use that joke. You got to come up with
I
something
know.
new. You used it yesterday.
You're right. I used it yesterday.
Yes.
It's a bad job out of me. Or go for the coaches tier where you get bonus content and you still get these weird pictures of Mike and the rest of us. Jason took his pictures yesterday.
There's I think 12 emojis now available.
All right.
And there's more. We get more members.
And
more
bonus
more roll
content.
out.
We are not
Bonus
taking
content.
away any of our free content. That will remain the same. But there's bonus content for members for a total of under $60 a
And I'm
year.
trying to coerce them to let me, if you are a member, somehow on one of the membership tiers, I'm trying to convince them to let me give the audience T-shirts as well. And that will be on me. It's not even
What you
on the
talking
company.
about?
Huh?
You Cleveland shirts?
No. Yeah, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Y'all can get no way. I'm talking about barbershop shirts.
I'm about to say,
We'll
look,
give you.
don't think I ain't
Hey, he
represent-
got. He doubled. He doubled.
We also have our own T-shirts. We love the barbershop. We love the Ultimate Cleveland Sports
There it is.
Show shirts, and you can get those over at ClevelandClothingCompany.com. We'll drop a link to those in the chat if you haven't already.
All right, that's one time. We'll promote that 82 more times in the show, so you will never forget. Trust me, we're on it. Mikey McNuggets, of course, as always, is here. Mikey, what's going on?
I went to a Cavs game last night with Anthony. Me and Anthony
Yes.
checked it out, and we're going to talk about it in a sec. But
Good seats.
seats, yeah. We're up in Loudville. And I'll tell you two things. A, sometimes being up higher at a basketball game is a much better angle to actually watch it. You don't get the trash talk from down on the court, but to actually see the game itself, they were awesome seats. And the fans up top are the real fans. We were sitting with the true blue-collar Cavs fans, and I felt like part of the community. It was awesome. It was electric in there.
Let me tell you something else.
Loudville, where is
You
that?
just never had good seats before. That's why you think those seats are
I
better.
sat courtside at a number of NBA games
No,
because my buddy gets me free tickets.
He's not wrong.
My
Loud.
best friend's the video guy for the Sixers.
They get rowdy up in Loudville.
listen.
I've been up there a couple times.
It was
you know,
Here,
earned
Anthony,
my
take the mic.
stripes.
Anthony, what'd you think yesterday?
You gotta press the button.
Loudville?
I have to move the camera, press the button, and
He
I
got
got two
mad.
hands.
He said, "You know what? You playing me?"
No,
Yeah.
Loudville is the best place in the arena. It's so much fun up there.
By the way, why does Anthony have his hoodie on?
Because
It's so
not
cold. In our office upstairs, it is so cold.
Let's go,
It's so
Anthony.
cold.
Take the hoodie off.
No. It's
The hood.
I like that
It's
hoodie.
hoodie season.
It's
What
hoodie
you mean?
season.
Not in here. It's
He
hot.
paid-
in here.
Hoodie season.
He paid about $65 for that hoodie. I had that on in the summer.
I don't blame
I'm
him.
getting my, and they wanted to just to give me my hoodie. Give
So
me the
obviously,
He got the employee discount, by the way, $44.
I
Shout
love
out
it.
Anthony.
I love
Shout
it.
out Maddie.
Great
for the tickets
discount.
yesterday too.
Guys, Jason, you were at the game, and those guys were obviously there. You guys did not go, right?
No.
I don't think.
no.
I
Half
didn't go.
half the Browns were there too.
Oh, were they?
Tito Francona was there. Not that he's part of the Browns. Kevin Stefanski was there. A number of the players were there. Cade York
Greg
was
Newsome
there.
was there. Anthony
was
Walker,
another
I
one.
think.
They done,
Boy, you shining over there.
they done got.
Whoa.
Oh, this is light. I've been had this.
I'm talking about the bracelet.
Yeah, I'm
Cuban
just like,
links.
yeah, that's like.
Woo!
You know
Boy, hey, boy,
A lot,
you paid good.
On TV, it seemed like it felt like a playoff game,
Yeah.
right? The atmosphere. Did it feel that way at the arena?
Yeah, it did.
Close up.
This guy is a you listen. That's PP Tom tendencies. He's so good. He be like, Steven, get you from
like a sniper.
He be like, dog, how
Steven's
did
a
you
man,
how you
I'm
zoom in
telling
on
ya.
that?
Yeah, don't eat on camera.
No,
Don't
I'm
eat
done.
Tyvus
I'm
yesterday.
done. I
But
can't
I- but I-
enjoy Reese's.
About that game though, the Browns got to win. They feeling good about themselves. Hey, go, let's we were at the game, front row. I don't know if they would have came if they would have took that L, but good for them.
But they didn't put any on the jumbotron that I saw, which is odd because
They
normally
were
they
not-
try and
they
fill it
didn't
up.
put any of them on the Jumbotron. We got a little beef with the Cavs. We tried to get the UCSS account on the Jumbotron. We tweeted at them every time they asked for fan submissions. They did not put us up on the Jumbotron.
There's not.
That's because I'm affiliated with the
Wait a
show.
minute. Hold on.
They
Probably
helping
true.
That's true.
To be fair,
Yeah.
usually all Cleveland sports typically support each other. So the Browns players being even if they would have lost, they would have. You got to think Joe Hayden is a guy who used to sit courtside. Even
with the
when
very
when
young
they
wig
were-
on. He would like
Yeah,
4 or 4.
Even when they weren't good, he was still doing that. So
Are those guys actually watching the game, or are they just trying to get laid? I mean, what's going on there?
Well, a lot of them are there with their
Both.
wives.
Can we keep it real? You guys both rolled your eyes as if guys are not going places to get laid.
I mean, last night was a big game, a national TV game. Boston's in town. Everyone knew it was going to be a good game. Tyvus, what surprised me was that many Browns players stayed in town. It's
That's
the
true,
bye
too.
week.
That is true.
Like, I'm shocked that many dudes hung around. You think, they got out. A lot of them got out after the Thursday night game. They got out of town
True.
for a couple
maybe it's
days.
the young players, maybe?
no, it's probably you probably think to yourself, I'm gonna stay around. Maybe I got some rehab I need to do for a couple of days. It was Wednesday. I'm gonna leave out Thursday or Fridays. Had a whole weekend. Come back.
Yeah.
You don't really need to. You don't need to be gone now.
All right. But in terms of the game itself, guys, obviously the atmosphere
It
seemed
did
great.
feel like it did feel like a playoff environment, and I feel foolish saying that on November 2nd. It's
right.
like, come on, man. But then Donovan said it last night after the game. He's like,
did.
yeah, and he's got more playoff experience than anyone else on that roster.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, it definitely felt like a playoff
I mean,
environment.
it's a confidence booster. I mean, this is a team that you likely will see in there. You want to let them know early, hey, we here to play.
Let them know. Hashtag let them know.
But
right?
does it, in the long, I know we want to save the long run of the expectations for later, but do these wins in October, November play any role if these teams play each other in the playoffs?
I think so.
I do. I'm taking it.
Yeah.
don't
But
think so?
here's the thing: in a 7-game series, you know how it get. The best player is gonna show up and do their thing.
Right.
Here's what I will say: if this was an all-veteran squad, no, because veterans will take the foot off the gas. They'll figure it out and say, all we need to do, we just want to make a top 4 seed so we got first round in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But when you dealing with a squad that didn't get to the playoffs last year, and now this year was a year that we said we're going to have to start putting expectations on them prior to getting Donovan Mitchell. Now, when you look at it as a young player, you're saying, wow, first of all, we feel like we got one of the best home court advantages in the game. Second of all, we know we got a closer now because when you always love to see your guy step up when other big names come in. So that's twice Tatum and Jaylen Brown that came in here, and now you got Donovan Mitchell, who obviously did his thing, but Darius Garland came back and was like, I got 29 too. Stop playing with us. They trying to put themselves on the map.
Career high first quarter points for Darius Garland the first game back.
DG was out there like he ain't missed it. You could tell
Step back.
when you had a crazy off season, you when the season come, I'm telling y'all, I'm putting myself on. You could tell that boy was locked in. He out there looking like Forrest Whitaker with the one eye. Don't be.
You went there.
Forrest Whitaker.
Awesome. You went there.
Why you got to diss Forrest Whitaker?
I love Forrest
He's a
Whitaker.
great actor.
He is a great actor.
That eye ain't been the same since the last king of Scotland.
Yeah. Jason, you say it doesn't matter in terms of the playoffs.
It doesn't matter. There is no sport. Go ahead.
Does it give the only way I could think that it might matter at all, and I tend to lean with you that it doesn't, is maybe it gives the Cavs a little confidence?
I mean, sure, but I mean, in April and May, no one's going to remember November 2nd.
Certainly not going to. The Celtics are certainly not going to be worried about it.
No, this means these losses mean nothing to the Celtics. They went to the finals last year. They didn't care about losing the Cavs twice. And no sport, what I started to say, no sport has a bigger discrepancy between the regular season and the postseason than the NBA. No sport. NFL, it's the same game. It's one game. Baseball, it's the same game. It's a series, but it's the same,
I mean, the intensity level goes up, I think.
The intensity level, but strategy is pretty much the same.
Right.
Basketball, it's completely different because basketball, you're playing 82 games, you're in and out, you're into the city, you're out of the city. This assistant coach might have the scout for Tuesday's game. That assistant has the scout for Thursday's game. You walk through, shoot around, you go through a couple of keys that you're going to worry about. You meet before the game. Okay, these are our focuses. Okay, let's play the game. Okay, we're done. Move on to the next.
Yeah.
The playoffs, you have 7 games and you lock in and you tie into that one team and you really learn their tendencies, you learn their weaknesses, you exploit their weaknesses. It's nothing like the regular season. And what's unique about if there's a Cavs-Celtics series, I would think that the Celtics would have a massive edge if Ime Udoka was still the head coach because he's been through it and he's taken that team to the finals in his first year. We don't know what kind of postseason coach J.B. Bickerstaff is, nor do we know what kind of postseason coach Joe Mazzulla is because he was really thrust into a tough spot this year.
No doubt.
With what's going on in Boston. So these are great wins. It's fun. It was a great environment last night. Enjoy it. I was the only one on the panel who said they were going to win 51 games. So I'm a big believer in this Cavs team. But last night and the game in Boston have no bearing on what happens in April.
I think one of the exciting things, though, is, you're probably right. But I can't, at this point, I'm not worried about the playoffs, really. I'm worried about enjoying the ride, right?
Absolutely.
The team is so much fun to watch. How about this stat from last night? With it being Darius Garland's first game back. Garland and Donovan Mitchell, 18 assists, 1 turnover.
Yeah.
I mean,
they only had 1 turnover.
They combined to play 80-something minutes,
that's nice.
And they had 1 turnover between them and 18 assists. That's pretty remarkable.
And the 1 turnover, real quick. Sorry to cut you off, G.
Go ahead.
Was a weird transition play where Mitchell just got caught in the air. It wasn't even in the flow of the offense. It was just a random
I didn't even remember that.
transition. It was a meaningless. It wasn't a crucial moment whatsoever.
I think the wins mean a lot, and I'll tell you why. When you look at the Boston Celtics, right? Nobody knew Udoka was going to be a playoff coach, right? He was there how many years? What, 1?
It was his first,
his first year. So we gave him clout because he went to the finals in his first year.
Right.
My thing is, the Atlanta Hawks a couple of years ago, right? They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. The way basketball works is when you start looking at cats, right? And I look at the Boston Celtics and I say, okay, who am I really scared of? All right, you got Jason Tatum. He can hit you for 40. You got Jaylen Brown. If he's on, he can hit you for 40. But you look at your team, I got multiple dudes that could do that same thing. I might look at them and say, they don't got enough. Because they don't got a Kevin Love they can come off the bench and get him 30.
But there is something for playoff experience.
I mean, they got enough. They went to the finals last year and they brought their whole team back.
Didn't have Robert Williams last night either.
He's been out for a while.
He's been out with a knee injury. But here's the thing. The Cavs team is different. Donovan Mitchell makes them special. They was good before, but when Donovan Mitchell came into the fold, they are now special. Now, if I'm going into Boston, now you got a guy that's like, oh, I get you for 42. Garland can get you 40. Not to mention, you got 2 rim protectors, right? And Mobley's not even playing well right now. Mobley, he has to figure it out. Karis LeVert is hit or miss. But the thing that's going to always translate is when you got good guard play, you got an opportunity to get guys that get that many buckets. And when they get together and are on the same page, because yesterday it was a little my turn, your turn. It wasn't no flow. Not to mention you got Rubio coming back. This team is different.
We got a long way to the playoffs.
It's a long. It
yeah.
is.
But Jason, I read your column this morning, and then I texted you because you poked the bear with the Nick Chubb comment in your column.
Yeah.
Check it out at The Athletic. But it was interesting to me that I can't remember which of the two said it, whether it was Mitchell or Garland. I think it was Mitchell. You had a quote in there from him basically admitting that they were doing a little bit
in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And it's a point that that's exactly the term I use, my turn, your turn.
Yeah.
When you put 2 ball-dominant guards together, they have to figure it out. And a lot of times in the beginning, it turns into my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn, because you don't want to upset. You're trying to play nice. You're trying to play nice in the sandbox.
Yep.
But you can't really establish a rhythm that way when this is my possession, that's your possession. And it happens all the time. It's very easy. And Donovan said, yeah, we did fall into that a little bit at the start of the second quarter, and that was really about it. Or throughout the second quarter, they did not have a good second quarter, and that was really about it.
Right.
But when you look at the starting 5, when the starting 5 was on the floor together last night, they had 14 assists on 20 baskets. Like, the ball movement was there. End of game, I didn't like. They got a little too ISO at the end of the game.
Did.
Some of the possessions were really empty. They weren't good possessions. But these are 2 ball-dominant guys. Like, Donovan Mitchell played this way with Mike Conley in Utah, so he's sort of more accustomed to this. Darius played with Colin. I crushed that from the beginning. That was an awful pairing.
And they didn't play together for a long time.
Well, a couple of years. And it didn't work. It was obvious it wasn't going to work. And as soon, I don't think it's coincidence, as soon as they separated, Darius flourished last year, which the only reason why I was sort of like, about this trade was Darius just established himself last year, has put the ball in his hands and let him go and watch what this kid can do. And now you're taking it out of his hands a little bit. But I was talking to some people at the Cavs who are like, listen, he's going to be fine. He can thrive in an off-ball role. And so they feel really comfortable putting these 2 guys together. But there are going to be choppy moments. Defenses like the Celtics they're switch heavy on pick and rolls. And anytime you switch, it just bogs down the offense, which is part of the point of it. And it turns into, we saw that with the LeBron years. They would switch, and then they're just pounding the ball, and you're going ISO. That's what you're trying to avoid. So I was encouraged by 14 assists on 20 baskets last night with that starting 5 out there. You mentioned the 2 of them, 18 assists, 1 turnover. It's gonna be fine. They're gonna figure it out. There's gonna be choppy moments. It's gonna be bumps, but ultimately I think they're gonna be fine.
I think it's better to have a situation where they're both wanting to share than a situation where they both can't stand each other. And that's much worse, right?
And that's what Donovan said. JB said, I'm down at the start of camp and said, listen, stop passing to each other and shoot.
Yeah, right.
And that's a good problem to have. And, I don't think LeBron and Kyrie wanted to strangle each other, but it was tough early on. It was tough for them to learn how to share. It was tough for LeBron and Dwayne to learn how to share. If you really want to go back, Kyrie and Dion did want to strangle each other.
Yes.
It was really bad. So it can be bad. I don't think that's the case here, but the overall point that I left with, and I even told JP, I'm like, this is a dumb question. And he's like, well, coming from you, I'm not surprised. But this team will go where they take them. This is going to be a team driven by its guards. Like Jared Allen's an all-star. Evan Mobley's going to be an all-star. Kevin Love's great coming off the bench. He's a champion and all that. But, Donovan and Darius combined to take half the team's shots and score half their points, roughly.
Yeah.
That's how this is going to look. These guys are going to drive this engine. It's going to be a very guard-dominant team, which is okay in this league. And the last point I would make on that is last year, Ricky Rubio got hurt and it brought down their entire season. They were cooking guys when he was out there. They were one of the top teams in the East. And then Rubio gets hurt and it all comes crashing down. And the point I made was Ricky Rubio can't destroy your season. You can't be built on Ricky Rubio.
Counting on that.
And they're not now. Donovan fixes that.
Now he's a bonus.
Oh, now Rubio's a bonus. Yeah. But to have Donovan, to have a guy in that role, that closer's role, that was a big concern for me coming in. It was like, you can't have Rubio be the determining factor on whether you have a successful season or not. and now that's not going to be
Well,
the
I'm
case.
glad you brought up the closing because I thought that he did a great job in the fourth quarter. The only issue that I had was that the last play before they went into OT, Donovan gets the ball, and literally DG is right next to him, like wide open. And I get the fact that, he, in his mind, because he probably forgot in that moment, like, for the past 6-7 games, I've been the guy.
And in Utah, he had to take the shots in Utah.
If he just looked to the left, I mean, DG, I'm not saying DG would have hit it, but he was wide open. I would have rather him go out that way. But the fact is, they'll watch the film, they'll see it, they'll talk it. It's one of those growing pains. And I'm sure, if that situation comes again, he'll at least peek to see if he open.
And that's one of those moments where in Utah, they're not giving it to Rudy Gobert to take the last shot. It's on Donovan to take all those. And I think Donovan will get the bulk of those here. But you're right. As they play more together, Donovan's going to look out of the corner of his eye. Where's DG? Can I get it to him, or do I need to take it myself?
Yeah, to me, I look at this squad, and I'm looking at the backcourts around everywhere else. I mean, when you rank the backcourts between Darius Garland and what Donovan Mitchell's doing, I don't see very many backcourts that can do what they do.
How is Trae Young and Murray doing? Do anybody know?
They're good. Trae Young's been really good this year. Murray is averaging like 22-7, and they're 3rd or 4th in the East. They're 5-3. So
That's gonna be a good.
There was irrational pressure on the Hawks to just do something.
I'm sure
because they had the great year 2 years ago. Yep. They collapsed. They tried to run the whole thing back.
They didn't collapse. They went against them.
It didn't go well last year at all. No, they had a terrible year compared to what the expectation was last year.
Oh, yeah, but I'm saying the reason that they didn't make
here
it
we go. Giannis is aging over here.
Hey, by the way, I'm meant to come on here. They can get that smoke too. Let's not understand.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute.
Let's not understand
put the camera on me, Steve, because I need to let the world know.
While he's getting the camera ready, Tyvis, no, you have 30 seconds to give Giannis praise, and we're moving on. That is it.
This is not even about Giannis praise. I'm a Giannis fan, but best believe when the Cavs play the Bucks, I'm with the Cavs.
Yeah. See, that's what I like. That's what I like.
That cleared up now.
That's what I like about.
If it came down to the Cavs and the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Final, I'm rolling with the Cavs.
That is what I like about Tyvis. He's a homer at heart. Yeah, it's always good to have a homer on the panel.
I think in the end, the important thing for me right now is I'm going to enjoy the ride. I'm not going to turn the first 2 weeks into they're going to go to the finals. The Cavs are obviously a very good team. Like any other really good team, you got to stay healthy, but they don't have that playoff experience as a team.
True.
A lot of their key guys have not played in the playoffs. Jared Allen played in the playoffs in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And obviously Donovan Mitchell's been to the playoffs, and obviously Kevin Love. But the rest of their guys have not played in the playoffs. And as a team, they've never played in the playoffs. And so that experience, and that doesn't mean they couldn't get to the finals potentially.
Right.
But we don't know that. It's way too early. But I'm going to enjoy every step of the ride because they are so much fun to watch.
And that's really important what you just said, because when we went through this once before, when LeBron came back, it wasn't a normal. That's not how it goes. They went from awful to the best player in the world came back. They traded for Kevin Love, and then they went to the finals. There was no growth.
Right.
David Griffin used to talk about this all the time. There was no organic growth and figuring it out. It went from zero, not from 0 to 100, 0 to 1,000.
But we couldn't enjoy the ride, really.
Well, the first
to some
year,
degree.
First year, people enjoyed the ride.
And then it was like, see you in the finals.
And then it was an expectation of, yes. Yeah. And by the last year he was here, they couldn't even sell the place out. They were having trouble selling because people just didn't
regular
care.
Season is meaningless, but this year it's not.
This is how it normally works in the NBA. This organic.
Right.
They were awful a few years ago. They made a ton of mistakes. We don't have to relitigate all of them.
Yeah.
And they figured it out. They drafted well. They hit on 2 big picks in Darius and Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
They swung for the big trade, and you're seeing the growth. You're watching the evolution of this. This is how it's supposed to work in the NBA. I mean, the last version was terrific. It ended in a championship. Don't trade it for anything. But this is normally how it goes in the NBA.
This is more organic.
Yeah.
And it's more likely to last longer.
Oh, for sure. These guys are under contract.
Yeah.
And we talked about this on the show before. Part of the reason they're trying to avoid the luxury tax this year is to extend the window with this team and all these guys together.
Yeah. All right, guys, we'll get back to the Cavs next hour. We'll look more long-term and see if our expectations have gone up. But Mikey McNuggets proposed an idea yesterday, and now we're going to play it out with a coach's fantasy draft.
Really?
Mikey, please explain to us what we're doing here.
Yeah, so we were just kind of thinking
I spent like
yesterday-
7 minutes prepping for this.
Listen,
You're not supposed
Good.
to say that, Jason. Keep it on the
That
down
actually
low.
might be the most Jason's prep for any segment we've done on this
That's
show.
fair.
7 minutes is
That
a
you
lot
just
here.
tore my
This
heart
ain't-
out.
this
You were at the
ain't-
Cavs game last night. You were doing your real responsibilities too. I don't blame you.
That's prepping for the show.
this
That's what I'm
ain't-
saying, yeah, but for any particular segment. But
Yeah.
here's the premise of this.
can't
We were
even-
talking about where Stefanski falls into the tiers and the rankings of coaches, and then we decided to do a head coach fantasy draft. And then we decided, let's make it even a little more interesting, add a second level of intrigue to it, and we'll do a fantasy draft, but you have to fill out a staff. So you could draft, we're going to draft 4 coaches each, only active head coaches. One will be your head coach, one will be your offensive coordinator, one will be your defensive coordinator, one will be your special teams coach. And we put a poll up online. We want everyone in the YouTube chat to let us know who you think wins, who put together the best staff,
All right.
and we are going to
So the draft order is Jason G, me, Tyvis.
correct.
And then we go
Snake.
reverse order in the second round.
Correct.
Back to the original order in the third, and reverse again in the
This
fourth.
is hilarious because
Yes.
Much like our fantasy draft, I have Nando DeFino in my.
No, you don't.
Our
He don't know anything about coaches.
Our fantasy guru
Well, we
at
are-
the Athletic, I had him
Yeah.
draft the first half of my team.
Well, all I want to know is, are you going to shock the world with the first pick, or are you going to take the
easy choice.
easy choice?
Am I up?
Is he up?
Jason, you are officially on
We
the
need
clock.
like a clock.
With the first pick in the 2022
Coaches.
Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Ultimate Cleveland Draft. I don't know where I'm looking. Team J-Lo selects Kevin Stefanski.
Oh,
Heck-
my
No, I'm kidding.
God.
I was about to say.
Hey, bro.
I was trying to
Hey.
be like, he done shook up
Hey,
the draft.
hold on.
Yeah, but you know
Well, he
what?
got a hand up.
Since our fans are such homers, you might win by doing that.
He would have shook the draft for me. He did that.
I put a piece of paper in my pocket this morning that said Belichick no matter what.
That was like taking Ryan Leaf instead of Peyton Manning.
Will Belichick be your head coach or your defensive coordinator?
I don't know. For
Wait a
now,
second.
he's the head
Who
coach.
are you taking? Are you
Bill
officially taking
Belichick.
Belichick?
Bill
Okay.
Belichick.
All right.
I actually was trying to come up with like a crafty strategy not to take him.
Yeah.
But that's just overthinking.
no way.
That's overthinking. Can't do it.
Y'all, what we doing? I'm on the clock next.
Are you
Yes.
second? Yeah.
Oh, I'll run up there with my pick.
Who you got?
Yeah, it's the second overall pick. Your boy G. Bush, a.k.a. the People's Champ, comes with Andy Reid is off the board.
Great answer.
Now, before we go to pick 3, we
wanted
did
Andy
a
Reid.
mock draft in the production office.
Yeah.
No matter how we sliced and diced this, those 2 were the first 2 picks.
I know.
Those 2 were.
It's an unfair advantage.
It was no
An
way
easy
you
1
wasn't
and
going
2.
to.
You know, honestly,
Easy money.
it should go reverse order in rounds 2 and 3, and then go back to the original order round 4. They had a huge advantage
We're
getting
not
the 2
making a
best
double
coaches.
snake. No, we're not making a double
Yeah.
snake.
He trying
One
It's
snake's
only
hard
4
enough.
picks.
Yeah, it ain't like we got 11 cats picking.
Right?
Come on, man. Come on. Who you got?
I'm deciding between 2 guys.
Did you think Reid was going to be
You
there?
already know who it is. Come on, you got 2 choices here.
No, there's not. There's more than that.
I thought there was 5 coaches that could be technically
Take
first
Mike
round picks.
Tomlin.
My list
and
had
don't
5.
look back. You at least be 5.
Hey, listen, y'all in trouble. If y'all don't come with the right picks,
All right.
y'all get smoked.
I'm going to take Harbaugh.
You
as
took
with
Harbaugh
third
off the
pick.
board?
Yeah. I'm taking Harbaugh with the 3rd pick.
Man, y'all kind of messed me up. I didn't even expect.
He
I
was
don't love
He
it.
was in that top 5. He was in that top 5.
Look,
I
kinda
don't love
messed
it.
me up on
I was
this.
leaning towards somebody else to the last second. I'm going Harbaugh.
Well, I'm for the last pick in the 4th round.
Yeah,
I'm
the first round.
Oh, the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Kyle Shanahan, but he's not gonna be my head coach. He's gonna be my.
So you're going to take your coordinator first? Then there's that's like a Browns move.
Yeah, I'm
to
taking-
hire the coordinator first, and then there's this.
My
other-
man- my
I'm
man
getting
is-
the next pick. Anyway.
all right.
He said I'm getting the very
Okay,
next
that's
pick.
True. That's true. So who you got?
Oh, I'm going.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, there's no commercial break
Well,
here,
hold on.
so-
Before we go, so round 1 recap. Jason took Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
G. Bush took Andy Reid. Bolt took John Harbaugh. And Tyvis took
Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. I already forgot.
Okay.
Overall, first, I think Shanahan's a little bit of a reach at 4. I like the first 3 picks. Mm-hmm. Harbaugh was 5 on my board, so maybe a tiny reach, but
All right.
it is what it is.
I got 2 guys that I want to take next, so maybe you'll take one of them and make my decision easy.
Well,
Go
I'm
ahead.
taking Mike Tomlin next.
That's what I figured. All right.
So, Team Tyvis, Mike Tomlin,
head coach Mike Tomlin.
Kyle Shanahan.
Okay, you got your offensive coach, defensive coach.
Well,
All right, then I'm going to go with Sean McVay at 6.
Sean McVay
Yeah.
joining up with John Harbaugh on Team Bull.
Okay.
G.
you're
Bush. We're going to pair with Andy Reid here.
So what's the name is off the board, right?
Who?
McVay.
Yeah.
McVay is off the board.
Harbaugh's off.
Yep.
Tomlin is off. Belichick is off. McVay. Let's go with this. I'm gonna go ahead. This is a tough one. It's tough.
You guys got Belichick and Andy Reid. You deserve tough now. Yeah.
Man, you know
I got 2 guys that I want for my next pick. Don't take them.
I got 2 guys for my next
I'm gonna go ahead. Damn, they got me.
Please God,
Team G.
Let one of these 2 be there.
Here.
I can see G. Bush taking my pick though.
Garrett gets 2 third-round picks. Like, come on, guys. How do you mess that up?
Oh, that's a bad job right there.
Okay, so here's who I'm coming.
Was there a trade or something that we don't know about?
Listen, we're using.
I got
pick 3 twice.
I got 3 guys. I got 3 guys that I.
All right.
One of them got to be there by the time.
I'm second pick. I'm gonna come with for my defensive coordinator.
I'll take one of my guys.
Give me Robert Saleh.
Dang!
Oh, I like that.
And that is the first big reach of the
That's
draft.
a huge reach. That's a prisoner of the moment
I
right
was
there.
gonna take him in the next round.
That's good, man. I like what he did
That's
with the
fine.
49ers.
That's fine. 2 of mine.
They did.
2 of mine.
Like what he did with the Diners. You know who he
Jason.
did.
That's why I was gonna pick him. You ain't
Jason, you're up
noticed?
for 2 picks now.
OC, DC, Super Bowl.
I really want to take Stefanski, but I'm not going to.
Why not?
Because I'm going to take Josh McDaniels as my offensive coordinator.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
so they don't want to be my head
that's an
coach.
OC, yeah,
And I'm going to
yeah.
take Sean McDermott as my defensive coordinator.
That's a great
I wanted
one.
Harbaugh as special teams coach, but he's already gone, so I'll take
That's 2
McDermott.
good picks.
So hold on.
Man, I got 2 great defensive
he
coaches.
went
Did
back
they
to
pass
back.
on both of them?
I got 2 of them too.
Yeah, because he had the last pick in the second round, the first pick in the 3rd round.
All right, go ahead.
So now G's back up. Before G goes, just to recap, as we're using
my
tag
dude,
board for this
man.
segment, and we thought we'd be able to do this a lot quicker, and
Bull,
tag board's not as
please
easy as we
don't
thought it was going to be.
Because I know you know it. I
So
know.
to recap right now, Team Jason has Belichick, Josh McDaniels, and Sean McDermott.
That's
Team
pretty
G-
good. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Team G
But
so
Josh
far
McDaniels
has
is a failed head coach.
Andy
So what?
Reid
He's
Great
offensive
offensive
coordinator.
coordinator though.
and Robert Saleh.
Is he, or is he just good with Brady?
Bull,
He's
you
got a lot of
have
Super Bowl rings.
you have Harbaugh, and your second pick was
Sean McVay.
Sean McVay and Tyvis.
Nobody's writing this down?
Well, Anthony's got it in the tag board.
I got Kyle Shanahan and Mike Tomlin.
All right, G, you're up.
G, you're up with your 3rd pick.
Man.
Please, God, don't take it.
Ooh.
Y'all gonna put me in a bind. And
There's
both
one guy I have in my tier 2, high tier 2 that's still on the board here.
I have 2 guys left in my
I
team.
got-
And both of them there, I'm taking both of them back to back.
I'm gonna. So here's how I'm gonna move with this.
Just don't take my dude.
I'm taking
this
him,
is
Tyler.
tough. This is a tough one.
Goodness.
But I'm gonna stick to my guns. I had him on my board, and I'm gonna stick to it.
Oh my God.
I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it like that.
Don't take him.
Ooh.
I'm done.
Oh, you done?
No, you got one more pick, but after him.
Yeah, after him.
I'm gonna go ahead and get my special teams coach out of the way.
Oh God.
I'm going to get what's this old boy from what's the name?
Oh, I know him.
He's got a great record, G.
Oh, I lied. I'm tripping. I'm gonna be high powered.
Oh man.
I'm gonna go with as my offensive coordinator. Go ahead and give me Brandon Staley.
Brandon Staley's the Ohio kid,
Respect that.
Yep.
Los Angeles Chargers.
So I got Staley and Reed, your boy Andy Reid. We putting up points, bro. And
Come on.
Yeah, I
boy.
like that.
Just let him slide one
I like
more
that.
time.
All right, I'm going. I need my defensive coordinator. I'm taking a Buckeye.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you took Vrabel?
Taking Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel was the one.
There is
omission
no
so far.
coach in the NFL that has done more with less than Mike Vrabel.
He took my pick, man.
I thought you said it wasn't him.
No, it is him.
okay.
I had him and somebody else. I was going to take them back to back.
That guy, that team. What does that team have? And every year they go to the playoffs. They're 5-2 again this year. They got nothing. He's
See, now I don't know who I'm going to take as a...
going to kick ass as my DC.
He done messed me up.
That was the one I was referring to, Bull. That was the guy who.
See, great
He
minds
also
think alike.
would be the perfect coach of the Browns. I'm just saying, his personality.
Mike Vrabel would be a great Brown.
And I would take him for any team. I think he's.
I was going to take him as... I wasn't going to put him as my DC. I was going to put him as my special teams coordinator. For my pick, I'm gonna take Todd Bowles as my D coordinator.
Okay. I was going to pick him too.
There's another coach that I was considering that nobody's taken. I'm surprised you got your last pick. I'm going to take him as my special teams coordinator. I would have been happy with him as my DC if I didn't get Vrabel, but
I'm trying to hold on. Let me think.
Dang, I tripped.
And Tyvus's final pick.
Yeah.
For the record, Tyvus's team so far: Kyle Shanahan, Mike Tomlin, Todd Bowles, and this last coach of choice.
a lot of pressure right now.
Special teams.
Oh, this about to be, boy. I already know who I'm running up to the podium with this one.
I can't believe this guy's.
You know what I'm gonna do?
What?
For special teams, and I'm gonna let him have a little input on offense. I'm taking the Giants head coach Brian
Daboll.
Hey, that's I like. He should have went
He's been
earlier.
great so far.
He should have went earlier. He was even good in Alabama.
I got to take a guy now who it's embarrassing that he's still available in the fourth round, but these guys have dropped the ball. Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll, great
Of course,
choice.
Pete Carroll.
That's what I was thinking.
That
I was thinking Pete Carroll too. But
I mean,
I'm like,
I think I got it locked down as the best coaching staff.
No, you
I don't
don't.
even think it's close.
No, you don't.
We're gonna look at all four
Yeah. All right.
picks when it's all said and done. We still
Yeah.
have G and Jason to fill out their staff, but Pete Carroll, it's a late round steal for Adam the Bull.
Here's what I'm gonna go.
G. Bush, your
I just
final
didn't want to
pick.
put him as special team.
Kevin Stefanski's not making a list, is he?
This is sad.
Yeah.
Y'all should be ashamed. Well,
Here's how I'm
the
gonna
way
do
our
it.
special teams is, ain't nobody put them as the coordinator.
I'm gonna take this guy, and I thought about it. I would have took him a little route earlier. If he could just get his mind together, he'd be nice.
Ron Rivera.
Nope.
Nathaniel Hackett.
Nope.
Doug Peterson.
I love what he's doing out there. He got people playing. Nick Sirianni.
No, that's a great
Nick
one.
Sirianni, very good choice.
I was actually looking
very
at him
good
for
choice.
special
Eagles.
I was thinking about him. just a second ago,
Jalen
too.
Hurts. They get the ball out. These dudes is playing lights out.
So what is he? What is he?
He's my special teams coach.
Okay, so you.
Woo!
I got-
That's that special
got
teams.
Brand.
And Jason with the final pick in the first
Taking
inaugural
Stefanski?
2022 NFL
do
head
the
coach
Cleveland show up.
draft.
Do it for Cleveland.
Nah.
Team J-Lo selects.
I can't take Stefanski because the Brown special teams have been absolutely
That's what I was
That's
going
what I
to
said.
take. I was going to take him
Just
right there. I was
abysmal.
going to take him special teams, but I said I couldn't do it.
Pathetic.
I couldn't do it.
I would be very comfortable with Stefanski as my offensive coordinator if it fell that way. But
You going to swap him?
No.
You can swap. You
No,
can swap.
you can put somebody-
You can put your offensive coordinator as special
Josh,
teams.
you can put Josh
true.
McDaniel as the special teams coordinator.
no, I think I'm going to go with the guy you mentioned. Give me Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera, special
Solid
teams
Rivera.
coach.
I mean, he did take the Panthers to the Super Bowl.
They did. I got
That's
all.
surprising, Jason. He's one of the meathead coaches in the league. You're not a meathead guy.
He don't do analytics.
He's a good.
All I know is every coach I got besides one has Super Bowl experience.
All of mine do. All of mine do. Oh, no,
I
they
got
don't.
two
Sean
of the
McDermott
four
doesn't
actually
yet.
won.
So real quick, in recap, let's take tag board full here for Jason.
board
This is
full.
Jason's four-coach team. I'm assuming Belichick's your head coach, McDermott, DC, McDaniels, OC, Rivera on special teams. Is that correct, Jason?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
solid.
How do you feel about your draft? We're gonna go around the horn real quick.
Solid.
I feel
Let's
really
take
good.
it.
I wanted to save offensive coordinator for last because there's such an abundance of offensive talent in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
My plan coming in, I want to try and steal Harbaugh if I could in the second round, but once he was gone, and then come back and get the OC last because there's still a ton of great names there that I feel comfortable with. But I'm happy. Ron Rivera I don't love, but I think he was the best of the DCs who were left, and I want a defensive guy as my special teams coach.
G. Bush, let's take a look at your team real quick. Andy Reid, Robert Saleh, Brandon Staley, and Nick Sirianni. Are you pleased with how the draft fell in your favor?
Man, this is young. This is innovative. You start off.
I'm not confident in
You
it.
start off with Andy Reid as probably one of the greatest to do a play calling. I match him up with an offensive coordinator and Brandon Staley, who's an upstart.
Analytics.
We're gonna be hammering that. Robert Saleh, listen, he did his thing in San Francisco, and by the way, he has the Jets looking good. And then I went with Nick Sirianni, who right now has the Philadelphia Eagles looking like they're shooing for the Super Bowl. It's one of the best staffs that you could put together. And you'll be proud of those guys in the classroom and outside of the classroom, Jason.
You'll be
Bull
going.
had the third pick.
You'll be going for it on 4th and 12 on your own
Team
territory.
Bull
Yep.
was John Harbaugh, Sean McVay, Mike Vrabel, and Pete Carroll.
Who's your head coach?
Some late round steals here. Yeah, Bull, how are you going to finagle.
Let me
this
tell you
staff.
something, boys.
Pete Carroll.
I'm the only one that all 4 coaches have Super Bowl rings, 3 as head coaches in the NFL. Mike Vrabel won a Super Bowl as a player. Harbaugh, McVay, and Pete Carroll are all Super Bowl winning head coaches, and actually good ones, unlike that nitwit Mike McCarthy, who didn't get picked at all.
I have the most Super Bowl rings.
You do the most. Well, if we include it as a player, Mike Vrabel won a lot.
I
still
will
have the
say,
most.
Bull.
Yeah.
You have a very experienced team. I cannot knock you on that.
Yeah.
But are you afraid of any in-house fighting?
No, I'm
If you
not
start-
afraid. I'm not afraid of in-house
A
fighting.
lot of powerful personalities.
All right. And I could even make the argument that I should make even though I took Harbaugh first,
should take him
I
your
could
special
make the
team
argument that I could make him my special teams coach.
Yeah.
I could put up my list again now.
That's it.
We'll pull it back up.
I could make Pete Carroll my head coach, McVay my OC, and Mike Vrabel my DC. I could do that. I could do anything, really. I could flip. Carroll and Harbaugh could be head coach or DC, or special teams. McVay is still the most creative and best offensive play caller in the league. And Mike Vrabel, again, how many players can you name on the Titans?
3.
Derrick Henry,
Derrick Henry, Robert Woods,
Robert Woods is
Malik
shot.
Willis.
Okay.
Malik,
Ryan
Trey
Tannehill's a bottom 10 starting quarterback.
Bud Dupree.
And yet they have gone to the deep in the playoffs. They went to the playoffs again last year, and they're 5-2 again this year.
Do they still got Janoris Jenkins?
No.
I don't even know.
He's been out of the league for a while.
I don't think he's in the league.
Yeah, he's out of here.
Their last year.
That's it. You named about, and you just played in the league somewhat recently, and you could only name about 5 players on that team.
Realistically, I can name some more, but it's a very limited roster that Vrabel
Has any
always
coach
gets the
done
most
more
out of
with
it.
less than him?
No.
I think
And
it's pretty
Tyvis,
simple.
let's see your team real quick. The last of our 4 teams. Tyvis took Kyle Shanahan in the first round, Mike Tomlin in the second, Todd Bowles and Brian Daboll. A little bit of experience
I'm not gonna
mixed
lie
with
to
some
you.
guys. Tyvis, how do you think it
That's
felt?
nice.
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a nasty. I mean, I'm putting
nice.
Mike Tomlin at the head coach. We're not going nothing less than 5-5, excluding this season.
Wow, this season he's gonna
We're
finish
not gonna
with
call.
5 and 12.
We're not doing that because the season's not over, so we can't even count that. Kyle Shanahan and Brian Daboll. I mean, first of all, your coach, your offensive coordinator, he learned from Kyle Shanahan. So therefore, you got to go with the guy who started it all.
No, he didn't.
He did. They was with each other in Washington.
Well,
who was the OC?
Well,
who was the OC in
One
Washington?
guy's got a Super Bowl ring, one guy don't.
That's a fact. But we got Brian Daboll, so we got. See, the problem is the NFL nowadays. The reason that Kyle Shanahan and LaFleur and McVay, the way their offenses isn't running well right now, it's because the defense has figured out their system. So now I got Brian Daboll to come in because
Matthew Stafford's arm is shot. That's why they're
whatever.
struggling.
You can say whatever you want. That system has been figured
Let me see
out.
Tyvis' list again.
Put that Tyvis. So this looked like the Ground Chuck 2023 version. Y'all
Todd Bowles, obviously, we
that
know
is run the ball, play defense.
By the way,
Bowles, we know what he do.
Brian Daboll,
he ended the whole Chiefs
Brian
thing
Daboll has
anyways.
never won a playoff game as a coach.
Okay.
Todd Bowles,
He's a special teams coordinator.
Todd Bowles and Tomlin haven't won a playoff game in forever.
But that means they
Super Bowl champs, though.
They defense is gonna be nice.
Both got rings.
Defense is
But
nice right there.
Bowles not as a coach, as a head coach.
So what? He got a ring.
Yeah, but how long ago was that?
2-3 years
Who
ago.
was I can't even remember who he was.
Todd Bowles is in the
He was
Buccaneers.
with the Buccaneers. What is wrong with you?
He's
I
with the
forgot.
Buccaneers. Yeah.
Hey, what are you talking about? He's the one that ended the greatest show on turf, the Chiefs.
But now as the head
What are
coach,
you talking about?
they've been awful.
What they got? He's the defensive
He's the
coordinator.
coordinator.
He's the head coach now.
He's my
his team.
coordinator.
You see-
No, but he's the head coach in Tampa.
So what?
So what?
What you talking about? As a DC, he's a champ. He's
He's a
Super Bowl
good DC.
champion.
I give you that.
Y'all got
What are we
defense.
talking about?
I mean, I just reunited the best head coach in the history of the NFL with the offensive coordinator that won how many 6 Super Bowls together?
How many win without Tom
End
Brady?
of discussion.
Y'all
End
bringing
of
Brady back?
discussion. I got a head coach
How
and
many
the OC
playoff wins do
that
they have
won.
without Tom Brady?
Well, we'll never
0.
know. We'll never know. But they got 6 with him. That's all that counts.
If he doesn't have Tom Brady on his team,
It's over.
I got 6 from Belichick. I got 6 from McDaniels. That's
Actually,
12.
Belichick's got about 9 rings.
I'm
or
actually
8
interested
rings
to
or
see who
something.
comes in last in this poll.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Because I think every team is pretty
It's
good.
I mean,
slightly good.
Of course they're all good.
Every team's good. I can tell you
What's your rankings, Mike? What's your honest rankings?
my honest rankings.
Yeah.
I think Bull's team is the most well-rounded. I think the highest upside is G's team. Jason, I think McDaniels is a terrible coach, so that drops you to 4th in my mind.
He's got 6 offensive. He's got 6 Super Bowls as offensive
Belichick
coordinator.
has 6 rings, and as soon as
Did they win all
McDaniels-
6 with him?
No, actually, Charlie Weiss had 1 or 2, I think. He's got enough.
Wasn't he in Denver drafting Tim Tebow in the first round?
He's not his offensive coordinator. We're not looking at his head coach record. We're looking at his offensive
That's true.
coordinator
I
record.
think Bull taking Harbaugh first and switching him to special teams coordinator as
Did you officially do that? Was that an
did.
official move by you?
I'm going to officially do that. Because of the way I ended up drafting, I
Right.
think it makes the most sense. So Pete Carroll's my head coach, Harbaugh my special teams, McVay OC, and Vrabel DC.
So I'm going to read some.
lines up.
We asked the internet how they thought you guys did. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little PCC read, and we're going to tell you what some of
Good.
the YouTube commenters say. Wait for Maurice. And then I got a question about Stefanski involved with this. But first, our good friends at PCC want to let you know that if you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, PCC Airfoils is the leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio. All locations of PCC Airfoils in Eastlake, Mentor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up, plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. Couple YouTube comments. Going to read these quickly. Derek Parslow says his rankings: 1 Bull, 2 Tyvis, 3 Jason, 4 G Bush. We got a lot of people saying, how is Dan Quinn not picked? The answer, Dan Quinn's not an active head coach. He was not eligible to be here to be picked.
Yeah.
JC says Tyvis wins in a landslide.
That's absurd.
He's a smart man.
Saying Tyvis
That's
wins is a
man.
reasonable argument, and a landslide is ridiculous.
Evan419
It's
says
a great
Jason's head
team.
coach and defensive coordinators are great. The rest, G. Bush's staff, way too young. Jason would crush him in a close game. Bull's the winner, his official rankings. 1 Bull, 2 Jason, 3 G. Bush, 4 Tyvis, comma, sorry Tyvis, hashtag go Bucks.
One guy has Tyvis winning in a landslide. The next guy has him in last place.
Dog
That's
Pound
why it's all an
Mark says
opinion.
Bull's team is the best, not even close. Jay Strauss says G Squad is trash. Will Grayson says Bull wins. Reticulous says I really like Bulls. AP Waves. G had the worst team by far. Sorry, G. JC says
cats is
Brandon
hating on
Staley
the
is trash.
squad.
The people are turning on the people's champ here.
I mean, you can't
And
win.
G, and you know it's bad for G because he's the most popular guy on
Hold on,
here.
it gets worse.
And yet they're still against you.
It gets worse. Kevin Murphy says Andy Reid can't manage the clock to save his life. There's no saving G's team. Peacock says G team's all about analytics. Analytics doesn't win football games.
I don't even like analytics.
Brandon Andrews says Jason and it's not close.
Wait, say that one again?
Brandon Andrews says Jason and it's not close.
Wait, say that
Brandon
one
Andrews is
again?
an idiot.
Brandon Andrews says Jason and it's not close.
Wait, say that one again?
Chris Hyder says Stefanski can be my QB coach any day. And yeah, that's about it.
Well, I'd say the majority of people said I,
I think
had
the
the best one.
majority of people say, but Phil Bowman, G. Bush, here's a comment for you. His team might not be the best, but Phil Bowman says he is the best watch, so G. Bush wins.
Ha! The watch is crazy.
That have to do with it.
Hey, Mikey, why don't you put one of your official 37-second polls up there?
Hey, let's do throw a poll.
Hey,
We're put-
hey, you
hold
throw
on,
that
G.
poll
Bush.
on.
We're gonna put a poll up. We got 60 seconds. I'm gonna hold my phone up to the
60-second poll.
It's
All right,
a
the polls are
60-second
open.
poll
All
for
right,
the
the polls are
official-
closed.
Do they know? Can you put like a screen up so they can see the teams? Is there any way we can?
What are your rankings? What are your
We'll run
rankings?
through.
Who do you think? Not
before you
including
start,
yourself, how
Paul.
would you rank the other three for everybody?
One sec before you start. Are you guys ready?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
60-second poll. Go.
All right, there you go.
Now you guys
Jason,
talk about your
how do you
teams.
rank the other? Tyvis said me 1, G2, you 3.
Oh, well, then he's third. If you put me third, I'm third.
Petty.
I do grudgingly. You know what? Coming in, I thought fourth was the best place to draft.
But I wasn't 4th. He was 4th.
Oh, I thought fourth would be the best
Yeah,
place
he
to
was.
draft. But I do like Bull's team.
Thank you.
I like mine 1. I like Bull 2. But if I can't vote for me,
Yeah.
I'll put you 1, you 2, and you 3. Since you put me 3, I'm putting you 3.
I actually, man.
I no offense, G, I think you're 3rd if I have to rank these 3 guys. I think it's very close between you 2. It's a coin flip. If I had to go, I think I would go Tyvis 1, Jason a close 2nd, and then G3.
See my squad. You had to see it in work.
Hurry up, you got 15 seconds.
I go Bull 1. Who did you have your head coach again?
Bill Belichick. That's an automatic.
Hold on.
That's an automatic.
But I
the
kind
head
of like.
coach is the most
I
important
like
position.
his
2,
defense.
1. Polls over. Anthony, results. Bull 41%. 124 votes in 60 seconds.
Nice.
Bull 41%, Tyvis 24%, G 22%, Jason 12%. That's erroneous.
What?
I'm calling voter fraud.
The guy who
in the
took
chat.
Bill Belichick
I
last.
got the
Voter
best
fraud
head
is
coach
in the
in the
chat.
history of the game. What is wrong with you people?
Oh my
called
God.
The people will not let me go last. I shall not be last.
They stole the vote. They stole the vote.
My people was like, nope.
They stole the election. They stole the election
What
from
was
me.
the percentage for him?
12%.
Oh my
And
God.
after every comment was G's team is trash, and Maurice, I see you'll get to you in 1 sec, Maurice. Hopefully you can chime in on this. After everyone said G's team straight trash, G still managed to get 10% more votes in the chat than Jason. The people's champ never fails.
Hey, I'll
Bull,
take
you
that.
are the winner of the first ever UCSS coaches draft, at least allegedly.
Thank you.
Allegedly.
And you know who's going to tie this? And this tiebreaker for us? Our good friend Maurice Claret joins us now. Maurice,
Oh yeah, Maurice.
I'm not sure if you saw what we just did, Maurice. If not,
Did
I
you
will
see that,
explain.
Maurice?
Oh, man, you tripped. That
They
was
stole the vote from me, Maurice. I got the best head coach in the history of the friggin' game.
My team is solid. I mean, my
right.
coaching staff is unbelievable.
Maurice, you got to break this down. Give us your opinion, all right?
So, Maurice, here's what we did.
Okay.
Using the active 32 NFL head coaches, we drafted our perfect staffs. So a head coach and offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, special teams
wouldn't
coordinator.
let it go.
We went in a snake draft order. I'll show you the 4 teams real quick. Can we get Bull's team first? Bull won the popular vote. This was his 4-coach team. He had John Harbaugh, Sean McVay,
Solid.
Mike Vrabel, and
Solid.
Pete
It
Carroll.
is solid.
G. Bush went next. G. Bush, this is his team. Andy Reid, Robert Saleh, Brandon Staley, and Nick Sirianni. Then Jason, who had the first pick, or Tyvis, who had the 4th pick,
Right.
had Kyle Shanahan, Mike Tomlin, Todd Bowles, Brian Daboll, and last but not least, Jason had Belichick, McDermott, McDaniels, and Rivera. So 4 good teams. There's no
Crazy.
bad.
That's actually crazy.
In my opinion, Jason should have been second. He has the best head coach. You could argue for him first.
right.
I think I have the best overall staff, but he does have the best coach. I mean,
So
it's
Maurice, which staff, in your opinion, was put together the best?
Well, I'm biased because of Josh. So I'm with you, Jason.
That's the only win Jason really needed.
Yeah.
Former player. Look at that. Former player. Someone who knows what they're talking about.
That's terrible.
Hell with that. 12%.
That's terrible.
12%.
My team.
That's my last time on this
My
show, man.
team.
I'm out of here.
My coaching staff is great. I like.
How can I trust?
Eric.
How can I trust the guy who drafted Tim Tebow in the first round?
He's not making the picks. He's calling the plays. He's offensive coordinator.
Okay, your other
Yes.
coach also drafted Mac Jones in the first round.
Who?
Bill Belichick.
Oh, well, he also drafted Tom Brady in the 6th round.
You got it. I see
He got
what you
lucky.
did there.
There you go.
Point in case.
He was like, you right? Yeah, Ty was like, yeah, you right, dog. That was right.
He won this one. He won that round.
Matt Jones. I forgot Mac. I think he said Matt. I'm like, who's Matt Jones?
Who's Matt Jones?
So,
Wasn't he
Maurice, I have a question for you about this. You obviously played for a ton of coaches in your career, and Tyvis can chime in on this a little bit too. But what is the difference between a good and a great head coach, or an average and a not so good head coach? And how quickly can you tell kind of their caliber of coaching style, ability, and ability to put the team in the best position to win?
Just somebody who's firm and decisive, and who can understand and explain the complexities of the game very simply. That's what seems to have worked with me with coaches who are great. I don't know, the 2 cool guys I've never had success with me. Just the guys who are cool with all the players, or the guys who wanted to be the players' friends. Those guys don't work, in my opinion. I think you need somebody firm. I think you need somebody who holds people accountable. I think you need somebody who can just understand the game. I tell you, just the best coaches. Just like, football is complex, and there's a lot of nuance that a lot of people don't see. But when you can get somebody to explain the complexities of the game in a simple form, and they get position coaches to advocate for them and to fanboy them in some regard, those guys seem to be a little bit better. Hate it or love it, you look at Saban and you look at Belichick. There's a reason that those guys have similar personalities, and there's a reason that they win. That's the main thing, is to win. And a lot of times when you're dealing with a lot of ego, a lot of personality, a lot of emotion, you need like a steady piece that is firm, that helps to just brings, like it becomes like the North Star to the ship. But you'll see over time, like guys who just are real cool guys, that stuff is cool and things like that. But that you can't hold people accountable when you seem to be real friendly with everybody.
Hey, Maurice, the Buckeyes play Northwestern this weekend. When you played.
Big game.
Oh, yeah, huge.
Big game.
They're a 5-touchdown favorite on the road. When you played a game like this where you knew, like, first of all, there's no chance Northwestern's going to win this game. We all know that.
Don't say that. It's college football. Anything can happen.
What do you mean it's college football?
Anything can happen.
College football is the one sport where you know what's going to happen.
You know how many times I've came into a game and said, we about to wipe the floor with them. And
you did 99 out of 100.
Halftime, it was like 21 to 20.
And then what was the score at the end of the game?
That's not the point. That's not the point.
No, is it harder when you go into a game where the Ohio State players, they know they're going to win this game? Is it harder to get yourself motivated as opposed to when you play in Michigan or Penn State or in the playoffs, whatever? Like, how much harder is it? Or is it not? We're going out playing football, doesn't matter.
Yeah, the guys are like the top tier guys and the guys who expect to get drafted and they have expectations, those guys typically do well. But it's like your mid-tier guy. There's more mid-tier guys in college who lose focus because you expect to win. You expect your star players to be so dominant at their position that, you know, like your mid-tier guys or your support players, those guys are who typically take off. But the guys who just have high expectations for themselves and the guys who expect to dominate and go on to or they're trying to prove their resume to get drafted, those guys typically perform well and they have no issue. But there is like this lack of focus that goes into that when you play a team that you know that you expect to beat. And what happens is that the team that, like when you're in college, you don't know, but the team playing they're playing like a bowl game and you're playing another game. So you're going to get a guy's best, or you're going to get whatever he has because he wants to take that little film that he gets from, playing the left tackle or playing Marvin Harrison Jr. This is like their day, where they can do their thing. Like if you look a couple years back when I remember the kid, I forget his name, the running back played for Purdue. And Purdue kind of mollywopped us a little bit. Oh, yeah. The running back was cut.
Rondale Moore, right?
Rondale Moore.
Yeah, he had a hell of a game, and a lot of that came from he's like, man, I'm playing the Buckeyes, and if I go out here and perform well, I'll get drafted, and that's typically what happens from those guys. But it's hard. But back again, that goes back to coaching. Having a coach prepare you well, having a coach saying, hey man, don't look past these guys and lose momentum, or everybody every team goes to the film room throughout the weeks, and even though they've won every game and they beat Penn State last week, there's things that you still have to work on. There may be some reps that he want to get C.J. Stroud. When you give the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. 1,000 times, there's other people who need to be active going deeper into season play. So there's things that you can start to work on. Or just last week, Trevion, that was the first time he got the ball in a long time because you had the other little kid from Cincinnati, playing a little bit better, and he was getting carries. So there's things that I'm pretty sure that Ryan Day should be mindful of and work on heading into season play and gearing up for the playoffs. But it is hard. To answer your question, it's hard.
Maurice, I'm going to get into this, man. Coach Prime, man, has been doing a phenomenal job, man. I'm like hooked. Like, first of all, he understands this generation. He understands social media. And what he's been doing, he's been giving people a sneak peek into his program, and he's probably one of the first coaches I've seen in college to understand how powerful social media is in terms of recruiting for other guys. And he's at Jackson State, and he's getting number one recruits. He's getting people to be in the transfer portal. Let me ask you this: if you had to do it over again, what would it take you to go to a HBCU as a top recruit? And also, what are your thoughts on HBCUs in general and how they are progressing, or what the future could be if Coach Prime continues to move his program forward?
Oh, it's just an easy answer. Just a path to the NFL. All these kids, it's the same thing I did. I was 18 years old and I looked on who had been the previous parade All-Americans and who had been on the USA Today's players of the world, right? And when I looked at all of them and looked them up, all these guys had went to the NFL. So there's like a reasonable assumption that, if you make these lists and you keep on the track that you're on, that you have a reasonable chance to go to the NFL at some point. And so I think a lot of kids go down there because they see the coaching staff, they see him, and they understand that you don't have to go to Ohio State to go to the NFL. Like if you look at Monday night games and you see where guys come from everywhere. It's real cute to put the hats on the table and all that little, fancy stuff, and it's cool to go to bowl games. But when you're a talented guy and you're seen by scouts can understand who you are, what you have, how you stack up, how you're going to play. They can watch you. You can watch a guy do drills. You can watch a guy show pads, and you can go turn on the game film. And it doesn't matter if he's playing an HBCU or if he's playing the top 10 team in America. Like a guy who has skill has skill. A guy who's fast is fast. A guy who can break tackles after contact can break tackles after contact. If you're a disruptor, you can two-gap stuff, and the guy can see the metrics. And, this guy bench presses 500 pounds and squats 150 pounds. There's a reasonable assumption that, this guy can go to the NFL and play. So I think it's on the beginning side of this. If he can get some guys that go to the NFL and get drafted reasonably high, it's a lot easier to go into another parent's living room and say, hey, I had person A, B, and C, and we went on and had some success, and we went to go do it. And then, I don't know what the institution is like from a facility standpoint. Then generating revenue allows you to get the facilities better, because you can't recruit these kids, and you go to an Alabama, Texas A&M, or Ohio State, and you have these phenomenal facilities, and then you think that these guys are going to practice in something subpar. So all of this stuff, but it's so far on the beginning, and of course they don't have the alumni support or the donor support that other people have. But hopefully through social media, through partnerships and sponsorships, and through guys seeing kids go to the NFL, these guys they'll believe it. But he'll have the fan base, he'll have the coaching staff, he'll have the coolness piece, he'll have all of those pieces to offset what these guys may go get at other institutions with NIL deals and donor support. So I don't know, it's a trade-off. So I'm excited to see it. Eddie George is over at Tennessee State, I think, or something like that. Yeah. So, I wish more guys came into this space and made these HBCUs attractive for, young guys to go participate and play at.
You couldn't even make it an hour.
What you talking about?
That's a bad performance out of you.
Maurice, anyway, I don't know what he talking about.
Hey, Maurice, he just ran off while you were talking. Ran off and peed.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
Didn't even make it an hour.
That's a lie.
You didn't take the pre-show pee break, did you?
No, he did not.
I'm not sitting in this chair. Did you see me leave? Maurice?
Didn't even make it an hour.
Did you
I didn't see you leave.
Okay.
57 minutes and time is like he's chasing a receiver through the curtain.
To the world's knowledge, I've been sitting in this chair the whole time. Maurice, the CFP release day polls, did they get it right? What you think?
What's the polls?
Tennessee,
I haven't seen them.
Tennessee's 1, Ohio State's 2, Georgia's 3, and Clemson's 4. Team up north is 5 and Bama 6.
So I've seen the top 3. Tennessee's good. I don't know if you've seen them play, but I've seen Tennessee. I'm looking forward to Tennessee and Georgia getting down.
Yep.
And that should be a fun game. Yeah. So, and I know a lot of guys from Georgia who played for Georgia, but I think they got it right. Tennessee's good. I'm happy for Tennessee because they've been down for so long, and it's good to see programs get resurrected. I hope Miami one day resurrects their program, but I think they got it right. Ohio State still has a way to go. As much as, we both been there, played there. We both live in town, but Ohio State still has a way to go to get better. Defense has to get better. But Tennessee, they're definitely a force. I think the quarterback play dictates a lot of that. But Josh Heupel, whatever he's done, he's done. Georgia for the last 3, 4, 5 years, they've they've resurrected their program, and they're playing and expecting to win. And all those kids from Georgia are staying in state, and Ohio State is where we're at. But I like it. We'll probably win out the season, and we'll probably get to a point where Ohio State's playing Michigan, where both teams are undefeated, and that'll be fun. And we'll beat them in Columbus. And then we'll get into this into the postseason, and then I'm looking forward to that. And you'll always hear me, and I'm like the honest guy. I don't care about the regular season. I care about us playing these teams in the SEC. I care about us playing these premier programs, because all the stuff in the Big Ten and the stuff that we do during the season doesn't really matter. You'll have a flash of a Michigan, you'll have a flash of a Wisconsin, and all that hoopla. But you need to play these powerhouses if you want to be a powerhouse. If you're recruiting from around the world, deep into Texas, Georgia, Florida. Every time I go to these schools and speak, these guys talk a lot of craziness, but a lot of what they're talking about is real. Ohio State has to beat, You have to beat your Clemsons, you have to beat these premier powerhouses in order to be, to have that prominence and not just this big, recruiting force. And we win the off-season championship all the time. We need to start winning the game on the field and go from there.
When you look at Ohio State, they struggled the last couple of weeks in the run game, against Iowa and against Penn State. What's something that what do you think they need to do to clean that up?
You need more options, right? So it comes. You don't have what is Jackson Smith and Jake. I always get his name mixed up. But you need guys to stretch the field. Oh, so here we go. Just rewind a few. So you have this is the issue. You have what is the guy? I always call him Pork Chop because they call him Pork Chop, the running back. Mayan what is his last name?
Yeah, Mayan Williams.
Yeah, I feel bad. I apologize, young guy. We got the same birthday.
No, he go by Chop.
You go with Pork Chop.
Pork Chop's a great nickname.
That is an awesome
heard
nickname.
That, but Pork Chop for a running back has to be one of the best. One of the best nicknames I've ever heard for a running back.
All I know, we have the same birthday, so he's cool with me, right? So this is this is the issue. I mean, this is the issue. He had success. Well, Travion got slow, then he came and had success, and then they're saying like, okay, man, if we put a bracket over Marvin Harrison Jr. and we sneak guys down into the box, then we can stabilize the run. But you have to have receivers on the other side of the field.
You need to get that?
Yeah, no. My fault. No, I'm in somebody else's office. No, I was in a meeting and then I came in somebody else's office to knock this out. But you have to balance the field out, man. It's impossible, right? You can't just have one receiver that you target 12 to 14 times and then you have a running back who's just bowling over people. Like, this is 2022. Defenses adjust. They bring different guys in the box. It's impossible to do. That's why I said with Northwestern, I don't know if Jackson Smith Jigba is playing this week, but you have to balance the ball out. You have to do that to loosen up coverage. Once you loosen up coverage, now you got 6 or 7 guys in the box. Now you can go back to running. Like, really up until this week, Travion, he didn't break any long runs. He had the long runs this week, but they really hadn't done nothing prior to. But it just all of it goes together. Like, a better passing game gives you a better running game. Better running game gives you a better passing game. And, for the most part, we haven't delivered the way we've expected to, but which is cool because you hope that they get on this run towards the end of the year and they're playing their best football against Michigan, and then you roll into the playoffs like that.
Maurice, great stuff as always, man. Thanks for taking the time. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, now.
See you, buddy.
Yes, thank you.
Go Bucks.
Right.
See you, Maurice.
Hey,
Maurice Claret.
When is your birthday?
You're not getting me that gift that he just.
If we get 5 super chats, put the timer up. If we get 5 super chats,
don't put.
No, 5 members. 5 members.
5 members for super chat in the next 2 minutes.
So aggravated.
I'm gonna buy Tyvus.
He's lying.
This.
He's lying.
Get a tight shot on my phone.
All I
You
want to know is
Executive producer Steve texted us this.
America didn't see me leave.
Tyvus needs this portable urinal.
Why do I need that if I've been sitting? I've been sitting here this whole time.
So you guys hear it real quick.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the show. Become a member. We have 2 tiers: starters and coaches. $1.99 a month.
Nope, not that one.
Loyalty
We need the 4 though.
I need 5 of the other ones in the
5
next
coaches
2 minutes, and I'll buy this for Tyvus.
You're the best fans, Cleveland. We love you.
Right.
And I'll join our tiers. Let's go.
Let's
go.
That
Got that
one.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Give me 5 of those.
Jason,
Wait a
count me
minute.
down. Jason, count me down. You ready?
5.
Wait a minute.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And go.
All right, we need 5 in the
Clock
next.
is
Let's
running.
go.
Tell
2
them
minutes,
five
super chats.
and I'll buy this for
First of all,
Tyvus.
Telethons for embarrassing stuff.
First of all, let me put this out here. Y'all getting ridiculous.
There's no shame in having to urinate.
No, hold on. First of all, everybody on this panel has done it, but
I have not.
So, you have done it before.
Did I?
Yes, you've done it once.
Actually, you've done it the
Everyone on the
most.
show has done it.
most.
Literally everyone on the show.
I did it.
Yes, you did, Bull.
You did worse. You thrown up in a bucket. Like, what are you talking about here?
That's not worse. That means I was sick and still came to work.
We have not gotten a super chat. We have not gotten a member yet, but we did get a super chat from our good friend Kenneth Yablowski, who super chatted $12.
He's not our good friend. We don't know him.
No, Kenneth is my good friend personally. Me and Kenneth are boys. We go back.
Kenneth
few
Yablonsky.
days
What's
ago.
up, Yablonsky?
He says, buy it. Tyvus needs it. And he gave us $12 to the fund. So shout out
So that
to the
counts.
fund.
That's
First of all, I don't. If anybody needed, it's this one right here because he goes way more than anybody does. That guy.
Every time I hear
Slanderous.
some commercial.
You know what? It's something about sitting on the end seat. I swear, if you sit on the end seat, like you got to go to the bathroom.
I kind of got to go right now. So I'm hoping that's
Hey, every time I hear one of the commercials, they say, "Are you a man over 40 going to the restroom more frequently? You need Relicore."
By the way,
why
I'm the oldest one here and in the worst physical shape, and yet I've only done it once. And you guys have gone multiple times.
I think I did it twice.
I did it twice.
I think I did it twice.
Well, I've only done it once, and you're half. I could be your father for crying out loud.
Do you guys want the official standings of what's happened?
I'm hydrated.
Yes.
So here's what's happened. Tyvus has gone to the bathroom twice.
Thank you.
No, I thought, isn't this 3 for him?
Twice.
This is twice. Jason's gone to the bathroom once and left to play golf in the middle of the show once.
That's true. I didn't
So
do that.
that counts as something.
And I peed before I went to golf.
G. Bush, have you gone? I don't think G. Bush.
No.
I think G. Bush is a
No.
statue.
Well, wait a minute. To be fair, G. Bush comes in at 10:58. Right when the show about to start.
Wait a second.
Anything he had to
Wait
do,
a
he
second.
should have done it.
Allegedly.
Time out. Time out. If I remember correctly, the one time I did it was when we were still running like these quick commercial breaks, and I went during a commercial break. Isn't that true?
I believe so. Yes.
I think that's true.
Not the point.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
We got anyone yet? Because I really want to buy him this.
We're halfway through. We
No.
have not gotten.
Oh, come on, guys.
I don't need it.
You're killing me.
If any, you know why
I just wanted to
he wants
present
y'all
it
to
to
buy
him.
it so he can use it for himself.
I
That's
just
really what this is
I
about.
wanted to present it to him on air.
He wanted you
Wrap
he
it
wanted
up.
to buy it so
That's
he can
wrap it up,
use
put a
because
bow
he
on
goes
it.
more than anybody.
I do not.
All right, guys.
All
By
right,
the
so
way,
let's get back to the little Cavs talk,
Yeah.
though. I will let you guys know when the timer runs out.
Okay. Before we get to Cavs talk, which we'll get to in a minute, real quick, Tyvus, I want to ask you this, and gee, I don't know if you were ever in this situation at OU, but you might have been.
Okay.
When you were a huge favorite, did you know it? Were you ever were you guys ever a big favorite in the game?
I mean, they're not. I mean, we play like 1A schools, and we would be a big favorite.
Okay. Did you know it? Like, did you guys know not that you were betting, but did you know the point spread?
Yes.
Okay, you too?
Now we didn't know the point spread. We knew you were supposed to win.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody
So when
had
you
to
were in
win.
that situation, but especially at Ohio State,
Yeah.
did you at least do you think you ever took teams lightly?
No.
Never.
No.
Do you think any of your teammates did it?
No.
You don't think any of
Because
your teammates ever
when
took
we played, if we knew we were going to win the
Yeah.
game, the motivation was to get up early so we can sit out the fourth quarter.
And so some of the guys who didn't get a chance to play,
Right. We wanted to get
them
the walk-ons and the second team guys.
Right.
in.
Now,
Would you have put your jersey down for Rudy? Would you have put your jersey down for Rudy? You didn't see the movie, did you?
No,
Did
No,
you
I
not
did.
see
Yeah,
Rudy?
I saw
Oh,
Rudy.
okay.
there's no Rudies
You'd
at
have been
Ohio
like, screw
State.
Rudy.
They don't do that.
See you, buddy.
No,
I got practice.
I heard he's a real big D-bag. That's the word on the street.
Back in the day, this is even before Glenville got good. Like when we played Glenville, like when I was in high school, Glenville was the game that you knew you was playing. Like we beat them like 72-0.
Talking
Like,
about Glenville back in the day?
yeah, we
Wait, isn't that Coach Ginn?
yeah.
Yeah.
When did he start? He wasn't coaching.
He
when
started
you were
rolling
there?
with Troy and
He's-
10
that's
and them
like
right there.
10.
So it has to be
That's
like, it's like 2000
It's
and
2000.
three.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
Well, was he the coach then? I mean, he's been coached there forever, hasn't he?
Wow, if he
Or they
was-
just were not good?
If he was the coach, they would still get 72 put on him.
wow.
Like that's just what it was back then. We did win a national championship.
No, I know that, but I don't know why I just assumed they had always been good because he was there. I don't know. Maybe
I
but
remember.
you guys used to kick their ass.
I remember I used to come. I came back and my brother was playing, and I'm like, Glenville is good.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh no, Glenville is the ish.
Yeah.
These dudes is like, and I'm like, I knew they was fast. They
Yeah.
always would come do their thing in track, but but nobody takes anybody lightly because, and I say that to say this. Back then, I wasn't starting, so those were the games that you wanted them to pound them.
right.
And then when you get the young dudes in, that's why I don't believe like if people saying you ran the score up. Like I'm trying to get my young dudes some
Yeah.
reps, bro. I want to run
They
my
need to
same
get some
package.
game
Well,
time
there's a
experience.
level. Like
Nah, we
when you
won
see
it.
these scores, like every once in a while, like 140.
That's what you know who did that in high school?
Who?
Joe Burrow did. They was
he
on the
really?
news.
Yeah.
They were 5 wide in the fourth quarter, up by like 80 points.
That's not
running it up.
Why not?
That's not cool.
Running it up.
Urban Meyer beat us when I tore my ACL. I wasn't playing that year. Urban Meyer was at Bowling Green,
Yeah.
and he put 70 on us.
Because he's trying to get to Notre
Where's that?
Dame.
Where's that,
He's trying to get
Utah?
to Utah. He was trying to get to
He
Utah.
left there and went to Utah. But after that, 72 points.
The only reason Urban Meyer was still throwing up 70
I love it.
is he had a 19-year-old in the back room he was with.
Hey, one thing.
You all say, but you know that there's a good chance that's true. Let's be honest.
One thing before we get back to Cavs talk.
Allegedly.
The timer has ran out. Tyvis, you are safe. We will not be buying you a personal urinal.
Yeah, no personal.
Jason's upset about it.
We did have two things I want to mention, though. They say, why don't you guys use the bathroom before the show? Trust me, we do.
We do.
And
2 hours is a long time.
Also,
Now,
Bull,
by the way, for
someone said-
all the chop busting here, between the 4 of us, we've gone 4 times in 100-something shows.
That's true.
And especially for me, because I'm on the show every day.
But Bull, here's
Yeah,
one.
go ahead.
This is what April says in the chat.
April, I
And
love
this is
April.
important because although you may not have left mid-show to pee, you're the one that puked on air, on camera.
I
and
know,
that counts
Tyvis brought that up.
That counts as 3. So you're actually in the lead for the most inconvenient breaks in the show.
But wait a
Because
second.
you made us take an unnecessary break at the peak
Wait a
of our
second.
audience.
Hold on, time out. First of all, that was funny that I puked on air.
This is a badge of honor. He loves it.
That's a badge of
He
honor.
told people for 2 weeks afterwards,
right.
hey, did you see me puke on the show?
Exactly.
It was the #1 moment in the first 100 episodes of the show.
Let me tell you something. Most people in this business would not have come to work to that day at all.
No, you shouldn't have come in here.
And I shouldn't have. But I
did.
He had
I toughed it out for an
Didn't
hour.
you come because Baker got traded?
No, that
it
was
was
when
the day
Baker
after
lost
they-
to the
Oh,
Browns.
he lost. That's
That was the
what
more real quick backstory, and then we'll get back to the Cavs talk. 'Cause
Yeah.
I do want to finish that. But Bull texted me that morning. He's like, I'm dying, man. I can't come in. Then he calls me at 10:30 after we've taken the chair out, goes, I will not let Jay dance on my grave about Baker. It will not happen on my watch. And he pulls up, showing up like death. And
Yeah.
then obviously the greatest moment in the history of UCS happened, and we're so much better for it, Bull. Thank you for being a
I
warrior.
was sitting here when he called. It was like, Daniel LaRusso's going to fight? Daniel LaRusso's going to fight! And Bull came limping in and got
And
the
I was
crane
sitting in the
position.
chair like this the whole time.
Yeah, he
Gets in
was.
the crane and then grabs the bucket and pukes.
His eyes was crossing like
Yagi's standing over him going like
It's
this.
because his arms is short.
Oh,
so
my God. I do have short arms.
he
I am
like
like a
all the way-
T-Rex. I'm kind of like a T-Rex. My hands barely.
All right, back to the Cavs.
Oh, boy. Cavaliers, guys, has your expectation for this team changed since the beginning of the season? Tyvis, start us off.
I think it has. And it's early on. They're 6-1, 7-1,
6-1.
6-1. But the way that they're playing, I get that teams are going to make adjustments. You know, they're going to figure things out, and they're going to hit a rough patch in this season. But if they continue to grow, because as teams figure them out, that should unlock things inside of them where J.B. Bickerstaff has to learn how to continue to keep this scoring going. But I think with the closer that they have and Donovan Mitchell, I think they can be. I had them going, 5 or 6? I could see them easily being top 3 now in the East.
Jason, what say you? Have your expectations changed based on the first 2 weeks?
No, because I already thought they'd be pretty good, and they are pretty good. So I think I had them right around the 50-51 win mark. I still think that's probably where they're going to land. I think the top 3 in the East. I tweeted that last night, and everyone's like, yeah, prisoner of the moment. No, I'm not. I covered the league for 10 years. I know what's good and what's not. I know what's sustainable and what's not. And what they're doing is very sustainable. And, again, we said at the top of the show, they were cooking teams last year with Rubio. And then when he went out, and they had other injuries. Jared Allen missed a ton of time. They had a lot of injuries. Obviously, all this is predicated on pretty good health. And they should,
that's always the caveat.
Right, that's always the case. Yeah. But they're a young team. This isn't an old team where guys need to take maintenance days and skip games. They're a young team, so injuries should not be a factor, you would hope. I think they're going to finish in that 50-ish win range, probably top 3 in the East along with Boston and Milwaukee, and that's how I think that's how it's going to roll.
Gee, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, it's changed dramatically, and I'll tell you why.
You gonna be the only one?
Even when LeBron and Kyrie were here, right? It dawned on me that they were very difficult people to root for.
What you mean?
They were difficult people to root for because it's like you loving somebody that don't really love you the same.
Okay.
Right? Everybody had been in a relationship
You
where
felt like that with Kyrie.
or LeBron. You got to think about it. When you go back to the decision and you go back to when he came back, right? He stood that was supposed to be it. When he went to Akron, he was at the stadium.
He said that night he was never.
He said he was never rolling, and the championship gave him an opportunity to kind of backdoor and roll out. he was always difficult to really put your whole heart into it because you knew he was always looking. And then Kyrie was already standoffish. He never really.
Kyrie was a psychopath.
He's. I would call him a sociopath.
He's
and he's a bit of a narcissist, right? And so
a bit.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be polite.
He's different. He moves to the beat of his own drum.
And so when he said he was looking for a way to get out after you won a championship, I said, he had this. You just had the parade.
He said it wasn't his team.
Hence, they were very difficult.
He was always going to be a LeBron shadow.
Can I tell you something? His second year in the league, I was having a phone conversation with somebody in his circle who said if they're not going to take winning seriously, we have to look to get him out of there. That was before his second season. And I was like, oh, my God in heaven. Like, they just lost LeBron.
Yeah.
If this happens again, this city's going to burn. So, and I kind of, Brian Winters and I kept, like, trying to say, like, this is not, and he stayed, to his credit. Like, they stayed for a while.
They got that one extension.
And they thought that we were, like, trying to stir trouble. I'm like, listen, I'm telling you right now, I've talked to people in his circle who said if they're not going to take winning seriously, we have to look to get him out of here before his second season in the league.
Guys, I mean, you guys both said the expectations have changed. You said they haven't.
No.
I'm kind of in between. My playoff expectations haven't changed because I thought they could do something in the playoffs, but I haven't. I'm not saying, oh, now I think they can win the championship.
I wasn't there either. I'm not there.
But my regular season expectations have already changed a little bit because I didn't have them as high a win total.
I didn't either.
And
I still don't got them at
and again,
50.
it's way early and maybe unfair to say this, but some of the teams that we thought would be good in the East don't look great. Doesn't mean they won't turn it around.
Right.
But I think the Nets are.
The Nets are.
They're not turning it
What
around.
is with y'all?
They're out of here.
Y'all think?
They're done.
Yeah. Ime Udoka is a great head coach.
I don't know. I'm not.
And he may figure some things out there, but
They're a mess.
I've never been.
And like the fan base.
If Ben Simmons starts shooting the ball, maybe
He ain't never going to shoot
if
the
I
ball.
go 4 inches, I might be 6'4".
Well, if that's the case, then he committing grand larceny.
That's why I think there's I agree because G I think also said 50+ wins. I agree with you guys now. I do think they're going to win. Now again, we all know if injuries happen,
49.
it could screw up the whole thing.
I got
but
49 wins.
But and G made a great point. As much as people enjoyed that time, and maybe it's a little revisionist history to say that team wasn't which was hard to root for.
It was hard.
But this team is the easiest team to root for.
I
mean, they are. It almost. And I don't know. You guys were here at the time. Tyvus. You're too young for this.
What is that supposed to be?
Well, the comparison I'm making is to a team from the '90s. You're too young. That's what I'm saying. But for you guys, it feels like, in a way, like those teams with Doherty and Price and Nance and those guys.
Yeah.
Right? It was like a good team. Maybe they didn't have the one, like, top 5 player, right? But they had a lot of very good all-star caliber. This team may be better in the long run, but that was, my sense is that was a very likable team, too.
Yeah, it was.
I got a question about that. So you say the Cavs is a very easy to root for, likable team. You say that about the Guardians.
Yes.
Would you say that about the Browns?
No.
Why?
They're not easy to like.
For better or worse?
If they were winning, would they be better?
You know what the answer is, honestly?
Yeah, what is the answer?
For better or worse, the day they got Deshaun Watson, it changed how a lot of people viewed this franchise. And that turned them from the plucky – because there's a lot of people who are rooting for – they've been horrible for 20 years.
Right.
But were they easy to like?
Before Deshaun, they were.
Okay.
And since Deshaun came, it has changed the view of a lot of people.
Watson's part of it. Jimmy Haslam's very unlikable.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Dan Gilbert was unlikable for
Dan Gilbert's not likable either.
Oh, a lot of people love Dan. I hear about
they
it all
won
the
a
time.
championship, right?
And because he spends money, and they won a championship.
That's true.
And to me, Dan, when you talk about like him or not, I always like somebody who's aggressive. I always said it. Like, people be like, you knee-jerk reaction guy. I'm like, no, I'm just aggressive in the way I look at stuff. I want to be.
So why don't they like Dolan?
Who?
Because he doesn't spend money.
Because they never look at now, and they always look to the future.
We've all criticized Dolan for not spending.
Right.
Completely fair. But I think generally the diehard baseball fan, who we don't have as many, doesn't hate Dolan.
No,
because they like what he. I think the casual fan more hates Dolan.
There are people who are staunch supporters.
Yes,
of the Dolan.
Because it's hard to just say besides the spending of the money because that's so important. The rest of it, he's great.
But fans can. Here's what fans can judge it on.
Yeah.
What's your payroll? Who's on your team?
Right.
Who are you signing? Who are you trading away?
Yeah.
And that's what you see. So
Yes.
that's what, and I get it. I totally get it.
Right.
But there's so much more to ownership
No
than
doubt.
just that.
Right. And he's great at everything else.
He's great at everything else.
He hires good
And
people
Dan was
and lets them
horrible
do
at
their
every
job.
Dan
Right.
was horrible at everything else.
Same thing, Jimmy.
But I say
Jimmy too. He spends
Yes.
money, but everything else
Yes.
he sucks
I
at.
bring this up to say this.
Yeah.
If the Guardians and the Cavs are such likable teams and the
Yeah.
Browns aren't that likable,
Yeah.
why has this always been a Browns town?
Well, we'd have to go back to
football's
the
the
football
most
is the most popular sport,
But here's the thing too.
and it's more identifiable.
It's the city's toxic trait.
Right.
Yeah. But here's another reason why I think the Browns are less likable. Well, one reason also is, I mean, obviously it's they're losing, right?
Yeah, that is.
And the players are like saying stupid stuff on social media before this week. They were saying stuff. They were getting in people's DMs. But here's the thing, guys. Think about this. You can complain about the postseason, especially with the Guardians at times. But in the last 20 years, the Guardians and now really just the Cavs the last couple of years have had a lot of surprisingly good seasons where you didn't have expectations, right?
Really, it's just the Guardians. The Cavs have been awful in the non-LeBron
just the Cavs
years.
last year, really.
But just until last year, they've been horrible
Right,
in
that's
the
true.
non-LeBron years.
Right. But you didn't have expectations any of those years.
But they've given you got to think about it. If you think about it, there's only a couple years where they have not been entertaining. From 2003 getting LeBron all the way to when he left in 2010, right? Mm-hmm. Then he left. It was trash until 14?
4 years.
When he came
4
back.
years.
4 years they were.
Then it was 14 to 18.
Yeah. And Jason, his first few years with LeBron,
that's very little
you didn't know, as great a talent as he was, you didn't know he was going to be able to carry a bunch of schlubs to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, you
did it
knew
twice.
I don't think it's fair the draft night to think he was going to be in the conversation for two of the greatest players of all time.
Right.
That's a
He
crazy.
knew he was going to be great, but
Some people wanted Carmelo.
In real, imagine the Pistons.
but the Browns have only had the Browns have had, I guess, two surprising good seasons.
2020.
The year with Derek Anderson.
Yeah.
And 2020.
They went 10-6.
And in 2020, everyone loved the Browns.
Right.
They were the plucky upstart.
And the Derek Anderson year, they didn't make the playoffs.
Right.
They obviously had
Right.
and there have been others too before that. But
And real quick, when you talk about the Cavs were not likable, that championship team was very likable. They were really. It was
Richard Jefferson.
Channing really
J.R.
changed.
Smith.
At JR, but Channing really changed the dynamic of that locker room and really kind of brought them together. Before that, with the whole Kevin and the drama, and that's the thing with LeBron. You were talking like he didn't love you the same way. It was just all the drama, all the nonsense that
there's
comes
none
with
of
him.
that now.
And there's
None.
none
Zero.
of that.
There's
None
zero.
of that.
And that's it too. The Browns have drama.
Yeah.
The Cavs and Guardians have none.
Right.
There's no drama.
You could turn on
They
the
need a
Cavs,
big bad for
and
the
you
Guardians.
could when you look at Darius Garland, and he's shooting threes, and he's just so happy to be
They
back.
all are.
You see his face. He's
They
like,
all have
and then
it.
Donovan Mitchell just got here, right?
Jared Allen is the nicest human
He
being
was
on the
waving.
planet.
He waved up to
I'm
Loudville
like,
before the game.
Well, I said All-Star Weekend, Jared Allen walked out through the concourse and out the front door of the arena. I'm like, this is not a good idea. What is going
Where your
on?
security at, dog?
He's just a chill dude.
And you added.
I wish we could get him on.
And you
That'd be so
added
awesome.
Donovan Mitchell,
I
right?
wear,
And Donovan,
I wear a fake fro for it.
We'd
all look like the Jackson 5 up here.
Will you wear a portable urinal for it?
and
No.
Donovan, they bring Donovan in, right? And it looks like he just knows the climate. He knows what it is. He knows that they had Kyrie before. He knows that LeBron left twice. So when he comes in, he didn't shy away from the fact of saying, yeah, I thought I was going to New York, but heck, I'm happy I'm here now. And you can when he's on that court, you can tell he wants to win at all costs. Like, even if that was an L.
Go ahead, bro. Y'all is out of pocket today.
Plus,
All three
I
of
like the
y'all.
fact that Donovan Mitchell was honest, like he was a Met fan growing up, right? That's his team. I think players and he could come here. like I have, and you root for the teams, right? But like, don't be a phony about it.
That was
like,
Tyvus, not me.
Donovan Mitchell grew up in New York. I don't expect him to be a Cavalier or a Guardians fan.
But he was a Cavs fan.
He got the
because he
jersey.
loved LeBron.
Yeah, right.
He loved LeBron.
Sure.
Now, this team to me, they just have the vibe of we would wait for the other shoe to drop and be like, oh, that was a nice little story.
Yeah.
And then they keep getting better. And then by the playoffs, they're a different team. You get to the playoffs, they got a good matchup. Then before you look up, you're like, whoa, this team could actually do something big here.
So let me, as is, with the roster that they have now, they still good to go? After 7 games into the season.
I would have said they had no shot before. Because I didn't.
What are we talking about, though?
I'm talking.
Do they need to make a?
But what's the bar? What are you trying to hit?
To get to
championship,
the
conference
Eastern
finals,
Conference
make the
Finals.
playoffs.
Eastern Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference Finals.
Surprising would be if they made the finals. That would surprise me.
I would listen. Boston's still a proven team. Toronto's a tough matchup because of their size, and Philly and obviously Milwaukee. So I can't. If they don't, I'm not going to say I'm expecting them to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm expecting them to be in the top 6, and I'm expecting them to win a round.
Okay,
that's what I'm. That's
so
my
just
expectation.
one round in the playoffs, and that's a successful season for you.
I would call it that.
I would call it that.
Listen, you get there and you win, then our expectations change, obviously.
Of course.
But that's my anything beyond that.
I want them to win twice.
Exceeds expectations.
I want them to beat the Browns and win twice in the playoffs.
I mean, it would be awesome if they could do it.
And it's
don't you think they need to add? If they're going to get to the Eastern
that's
Conference
the question
Finals,
right there. What you about to say?
Don't they need to add a Jay Crowder type of player?
I would love to see him add Jay Crowder.
But do they have anything at all?
Would he want to come back here?
I think he would.
Not at LeBron's
because this is
a different team.
It's a completely different team.
He just had a hard time here.
Yeah.
Right? And then you could put
I mean, he started last time, but they just couldn't.
Right.
He just couldn't. He really struggled playing alongside LeBron. It's not as easy for some guys.
Yeah.
Some guys just fit perfectly. Other guys, they really struggle to adapt their game because you have to adapt to him.
But he wouldn't have to with this team.
He wouldn't have to with this team.
He'd be a perfect fit.
He would be. But when you're talking about playoffs, it all comes down to matchups and seeding.
Right.
Do you have to beat both Milwaukee and Boston?
That's what I'm saying.
That's a really tough road to hoe.
You got to hope.
You're going to have to beat one of them. If you're trying to get the conference finals, you're going to have to beat one of them. But how do the seedings fall? Do you get one in the first round, and then you got to face it? Like, that's really a tall ask.
Right.
So this is why missing the playoffs last year is a really big deal.
Yeah, right.
Because you missed out on that experience, and the point I've made, like, JB needs the experience of going through exactly what we talked about at the start of the show, of you lock in on this team. Like Ty Lue, I love Ty for this team because he was a postseason coach. He gave these guys some rope, and I said this before. We stopped the season and went to Napa for 3 days in the middle of the season. Everyone's like, nope, we're done. We're going to Napa. And everyone just went and got drunk in Napa for 3 days in the middle of the season. And Ty allowed it because he knew when to pull them back in and get them ready for the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, I'll never forget this. That first round series against Detroit the year they won the championship, Stan Van Gundy, I'm not going to go, it'd take too long to tell the whole story. Stan Van Gundy ran a counter on what they were doing on an inbounds play, or ran a defense, sorry. And Ty sat down with Larry Drew in his office on a napkin and said, we got to come up with a counter to that. And scribbled out, in 30 seconds, scribbled out a counter play that they used at the end of the game in Detroit. Inbounds pass to Deli, skip pass across the court to an open three in the corner, and they won the game. Like, that's where Ty was at his best, on ATOs. All the things that you need to be a successful NBA head coach, he could scheme guys off the floor. And that's what we have to find out about JB. Can he do that or not? We don't know.
Where was JB before he became the head?
He was Rockets intern.
He was an assistant. He's always been the interim.
So he was under Dan Toney?
He replaced Kevin McHale after Kevin McHale got fired. He was the interim there in Houston.
It was like 12 games.
He got screwed in Memphis. He was the coach in Memphis and got fired there. He never should have been fired there. He did a nice job with the team in Memphis.
Is that the year they beat OKC?
It was the year before he came here. I don't remember now.
2017 to 2019.
There you go.
Memphis.
But he never should have been fired from Memphis. Okay. Like he did a really nice job. But that organization's completely dysfunctional as well.
Right. But don't you think they need to be you really want to be, we keep saying top 6, but you want to be top 5. Because if you're 6, you got to play
Milwaukee or Boston. Or no, I'm sorry.
Milwaukee, Boston, or Philly, or whatever.
No, the play-ins. I mean, really, I think they're going to be top 3. I wholeheartedly believe they're going to be top 3. You have home court in the first round. If you win that, then you're probably going to get Boston or Milwaukee at that point.
Right.
Traditionally, looking at the teams that do well in the playoffs, usually somebody wins those rounds who has a top 10 player. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is a top 10 player. Where would you put him in like
15, top 15
somewhere?
I think he's
And
top.
where's
15.
Darius? Top 25?
It's hard with
It's hard
point guards.
right.
It's hard with point guards, and you can't have your point. It's like Phoenix does it with Chris Paul, but it's really hard for your point guard to be your number one because there's so many other responsibilities that go into being a point guard. That it's difficult to win championships when your point guard is your best player. Obviously, Golden State has Steph, but they have so much frickin' talent around him that it's easier to carry the load.
Although Klay Thompson's not the same player.
Well,
is he?
No, I mean he's had a bunch of injuries. But I mean, for them to win the championship last year was just unbelievable. I don't think they're going to win it again. But I mean, Darius is probably, I'd say top 30. I don't have the list in front of me. I'd say Darius is probably top 30.
Are Jared Allen and Mobley top 50 already? I mean, Mobley will be, but
probably right on the cusp of that.
Right.
I would think.
Both of them.
So
Yeah, I think Mobley's going to be the best of all of them.
and the reason I ask you this is because Kendrick Perkins said it. He said, no, the Cavs got the best starting lineup in the league.
That's what he said last night.
And I said, well, let me. I disagreed at first, and then I started looking.
This is not prisoner of the moment type stuff, guys. It's not. Like they really are that good.
Well, how many other teams have 4 top 50 players? If we're saying Mobley and Allen are in the top 50.
Not many.
ESPN did their top 100 rankings before this season. The Cavs are one of 3 teams with 6 players in the top 100.
Who would be the other two?
LeVert and Love?
LeVert and Love were both in the top. Love was like 97 and LeVert was like 86.
And so,
Not Isaac Okoro.
if
I
we-
think Okoro gets 100 minutes this year. It'll be a
Good
blessing.
gracious. But I will say, when he said that, I started looking, and I was like, in a 7-game series, it'll be hard to stop the Cavs because they got legitimately 2 or 3 or 4 guys that could get 30.
And
I
they
think
young-
we're all
and they all
excited to see
young,
it
too.
for the first time without LeBron in a very, very long time.
That's it. Because LeBron is not here.
Yeah.
This is a team where you can completely identify with. It's easy to watch them. And you know me, I want to play every game to win, and I'm hard on people. But even if they lose, for me, I'm like, oh, well, you know, they just hit shots today. But I'm completely in on the fact that this team is going to win a lot of games. They're going to play hard, and they're very enjoyable. And that was
Get the camera on that one.
That's
Steve.
the closest
You
I've
know
come.
what? But you know what?
Off the front of the rim.
The
I lost my
reason why I
legs.
think, and this might sound absolutely absurd, but I think that they could actually bang with the Bucks because unlike the Bucks, the Cavs got stuff coming off the bench. The Bucks do not. I mean, they got like
They
maybe.
don't have Middleton back yet. It's tough to judge the Bucks at full strength when they're
True,
best player.
but he ain't coming off the bench.
And Middleton's been hurt for like how long?
I know.
Well, he's coming back. He'll be back middle of the season. Like he'll be back.
He tore his ACL?
No, I didn't
he get
think.
hurt at the
I
end
don't
of
think.
last year?
I don't think he tore his ACL.
If he tore his ACL, he's chalked that up. He's not going to be doing
I
that.
thought
this
he
year.
I thought he tore his M's.
Oh, I lied. He says he's returning near to action. Could be back in the next week and a half.
All right, let's leave it there, guys. Let's get to,
He
we
had
got a
surgery
top
on
5.
his wrist, by the way. That was the.
No, it was his wrist.
Mikey, what's our top 5 today?
Well, we were thinking. Aditi's unable to join us today, by the way. We'll have to revisit with her next week. Our top 5 today, though, is the 5 best players in the NBA through the first 10% of the season.
Oh, we already.
5 best players in the NBA through the what?
First 10% of the season.
I done watched a lot of
So
NBA.
I already know
this
who
is
number
not
1
based on
is.
career. This is based on through the 8 or 9 games that everyone's
Only
played.
based on the first
I'ma let
10%
you-
of
This
the
is right
season.
now. As of right now, who have been the 5 best
I'm gonna
players
let you
in
know
the league?
something. If number 1 ain't who I think it is, then this list is completely flawed.
Then me and you
By the way, even with the Warriors struggling, Steph Curry's playing out of his mind.
get ready to fight then, Tyvis. Get ready
So-
to fight.
If you got Luka Doncic as 1,
Let's get ready
we're
to
done.
fight.
5 is
We're
Kevin
done.
Love, 4 is Jared Allen, 3 is Evan Mobley, 2 is Darius Garland, and 1 is Donovan Mitchell.
All right,
Right?
well, let's get to number 5.
He better.
The only
Dion
player
Waiters on the
to
list?
beat the Cavs this year, Pascal Siakam. He's averaging 26 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists per game. He's shooting 50% from the floor. He's the only player in the league to be in the top 20 of every major statistical category across the board: points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks.
He's
And
hard
the,
to argue that.
the
He's
Raptors have been
always-
really good this year.
He's always been a player, man.
For
I like
me, I
Siakam.
told somebody, I don't know what his trade clause is. I would trade Kawhi Leonard. I would trade him, and I would ask for Pascal Siakam. You
said-
might be able to get that.
Why would Toronto do that?
Toronto wouldn't do that. No.
Isn't he young? Siakam's young.
Yeah,
right?
Siakam's like 6 years younger.
He's been in the league. He was there when the Cavs were a title contender.
Yeah.
He was just coming into his own. The Raptors find talent everywhere. They do. Masai does such a good job there. They find second-round guys, undrafted guys. He's a perfect example.
I would trade Kawhi.
And they play hard.
Yeah, they're just really good. That's
Kind
a
of
really
like the
well-run
Titans of the
organization.
NBA.
That's sad,
right? Like they just find all these
Kawhi
guys,
fell off like
a lot
that.
of no names, like not.
The NBA used to be if you don't find it in the top 10 picks of the draft, you're not going to find it. And that's just not true
Better
anymore.
talent.
You can find talent anywhere.
I can't.
Chalk it up.
I can't believe Kawhi fell off.
It looked like it hurt. It looked like he hurt when he walked.
They John Wall that made it back before him.
He's out of here. Good luck.
His body is just deteriorating.
Number 4.
Because he
Number
carried the
4.
ball too many times. That's why.
The local kid, Donovan Mitchell. Averaging 31.5 points per game, 7 assists, 4 rebounds.
4.
He's proven to be an elite closer so far, and he has the Cavs at 6-1, second in the Eastern Conference.
Let me see that.
Best.
Show that.
Dark horse.
Every time you guys say closer, I think of Emmanuel Clase.
By the way, if the Cavs win close to 60 games, and they're
That's the MVP.
50, they win 55 games, they're number 1 or 2 seed.
MVP.
He's gonna win MVP.
He should.
It's the Cavs.
He'll be in the conversation.
But
But
here's the thing. Listen, hold on.
You don't go from no votes to MVP.
But here's the thing.
He might get votes, but he's not going to win.
The Cavs,
Who gonna win it?
Who gonna?
You'll see
But
there's
fatigue.
But the
There's
Cavs are gonna.
fatigue.
But don't you think as the year goes on, the scoring's going to spread out a little more?
Well,
the Cavs?
if he continues to play at this clip, they'll say the Cavs are the first team. This is the first time they've been really likable and watchable. This is the best player they had since LeBron or Kyrie, and they won 50 games, and he made an instant.
Is Kobe Altman gonna win?
I mean, you got
GM
Luka
of the year?
Doncic. Those guys dominate.
If they do what
they don't
they're
have
supposed
the
to.
players around them.
They have to win
we'll
a lot
see.
of games.
We'll
They
see.
got to
Yeah,
win
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
We'll see
games.
the rest
If they
of the
won
list,
60, sure, then he
Who's
maybe.
who's number 3?
Go ahead, number 3.
Number 3, John Morant, Memphis Grizzlies
he's
point
been
guard.
playing crazy.
Almost identical stats to Mitchell. The one nod I give to Morant, he's 10 spots higher in PER, and he's shooting over 50% from the floor and from 3. So he's been a little more efficient putting up the same stats. He's been unbelievable this year.
Point guard.
And for a while, I was like, I don't know why I felt like his game wasn't where it's supposed to be. Maybe it's because he didn't shoot that many threes, or he wasn't a knockdown shooter.
But
this year,
he's been my second favorite player.
He's been killing this year. Like he hit everything.
I joked last year that Cavs-Grizzlies NBA Finals in 2025 is going to be the lowest rated series ever.
Oh, my
and now it's like, could be a thing.
Yeah,
like,
it could be.
imagine a Cavs-Grizzlies NBA Finals.
Yes.
No.
The league would be jumping out of windows all over New York.
It's going to be the Cavs versus the Jazz.
No, that ain't
But the Cavs,
LeBron and
State.
Bronny gonna be there because they got all the picks.
The Cavs
Ain't going to the Jazz.
They gonna.
You think LeBron's going to move to Utah?
If his son
Stop.
gets drafted there, yeah.
Michael Jordan loved Utah.
All of
Loved Utah.
Okay.
All right, number 2.
All right.
So there was 2
and
options
Dwayne Wade
for these
is
first 2 spots.
got stake over there.
And, you know, we had a discussion, and this is what we went with. The second best player in the league this year.
I can't believe y'all.
Tyrus's boy, Giannis.
If you got
Antetokounmpo.
Luka over him, this is
Listen,
flawed.
you can
It's
look
flawed.
at the stat. Psych. No, he's been the best player in the league. The real answer, number 2 this year, has been Luka Doncic. Luka, listen, these numbers are absurd. He's averaging 36 points, first in the league, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. He's first in points, 5th
Don't
in
play
assists,
like
number
that.
1 overall in PER, and he's the first player in the NBA in the last 60 years to score 30-plus points in the first 7 games of the season. This dude's unbelievable.
And he looks a little like Zach Jackson.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Luka and Zach look a little alike, I think.
I don't
Zach?
I don't know who that is.
Zach couldn't score 36
No.
points in 82 games.
But he looks a little like Luka.
Luka's game is completely baffling to me. I heard Isaiah Thomas talk about it. He's not fast.
Not at all.
He's not overly quick.
Nope.
He can't
He
jump.
does everything slow too.
And he moves in slow motion.
Is he a chubby Larry Bird?
Is he considered chubby?
Yes, he's chubby.
He's
For
a
an
little
NBA
doughy.
player, he's chubby.
He's a little doughy. I don't know if I call him chubby.
For an NBA player, he's chubby.
He got that.
some size.
You know it's bad when he got a worse build than Carmelo. Now that first Carmelo build, he'd be like,
Carmelo was a power forward. He was backing people.
but this Luka does it. He just backs point guards down.
Leg up.
Look,
Leg
He's a
up.
great player.
I don't understand it, but he be killing people, Jason.
How come they never get anybody around him? Like how?
'Cause it's hard
Jalen
to-
Brunson was great.
It's
last
hard
year.
to
He left.
play with him.
They tried with Porzingis. It was supposed to be
He might-
Porzingis and
Porzingis is never healthy.
But I'm saying they made that deal thinking they were going to pair those guys together, and
Mark
it's
Cuban, get it together.
They made it to the Western Conference Finals.
I don't think Luka's hard. I think Luka's
they
easy
were
to
in the
play
Western
with.
Conference Finals, but wasn't Jalen Brunson their second best player last year?
Yes.
Last year, yes.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
Spencer, he making a comeback.
Giannis is the
Giannis
best player in the
#1.
league this year. 34 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. He's second in points, second in rebounds, second in PER. They're the only undefeated team in the league. And he's arguably the best defensive player in the NBA, too, averaging 2 blocks and a steal per game. There's nothing this dude can't do, and
Who's
he's only
first in
getting better.
PER? Doncic?
Doncic.
So why wouldn't he be one?
Because he's not better.
Defensive side, it's just
We're basic.
Stop it. Stop
He
it.
said
Bull.
basing it
Stop
only
it.
on 8 games.
You know what's hard?
But it's a minuscule difference. I mean,
You know what the hardest thing is?
Yeah.
To be a guy who can do it offensively and defensively.
But Luka's better than Giannis as all-around offensive player. Giannis is better as an all-around player.
Is he?
He's
aspect?
a better shooter.
That's it.
As an all-around
He's a
player,
better
Giannis is
playmaker.
ahead because he's better defensively.
He's a better.
Much better.
The only thing he does better than anybody does better than Giannis is shoot.
But
Right, but if you're
And
asking me
pass
who's
and
better,
dribble.
Jason, who's better, just offense, Giannis or Luka? Just offense.
It depends on
I'd
what
say
you want.
Luka
It
by
depends on the
opinion.
build of your
Mike's
team,
right. It
yeah.
depends on what you're looking for. It depends on what you want.
You would never say Luka is unstoppable, but you will say Giannis is unstoppable.
You know what?
I mean, guy's averaging 36 points a game.
But
He's unstoppable.
if you need one shot at the end of the game, Giannis would not be my first pick.
Here's the bottom line.
Because it's a shot. If you down
If
1 point, who you giving
here's
it
what
to?
I would say, Tyvus.
Giannis.
All right, then.
Here's what I would say. If I'm drafting the whole NBA from scratch, yeah, Giannis I'd take over Luka.
So what are we talking about?
I'm just saying, just scoring, I would take Luka by a hair over Giannis.
Because he can
That's all I'm
shoot.
saying. He's a better shooter, much better shooter.
Okay, that's fine. That's
But
opinion.
Giannis is the better all-around player. I think we all agree that.
Yes.
You ready to do some final takes?
Final takes.
Final takes.
Tyvus, you're up.
Tyvus needs his video, even though he can talk whenever he wants to start talking.
He has that quirk.
Oh, he waits
He
for
has
it,
to
yeah.
wait for that.
It's in my contract.
Yeah, it's true. It is.
You got a
I saw it.
contract? Man, I'm getting screwed.
Today's final take for me is something that's very near and dear to all of our hearts, and it's something very special. Please take the time to subscribe to our show, like, and hit the little bell for notifications. Also, please sign up to be a member. We really do appreciate it. It will mean a whole lot to not just us, but everybody that's involved in this project. It's $2 per month or $5 per month. And I promise you, we giving y'all some exclusive behind the scenes, nitty gritty content you don't really want to miss out on. So please just buy the membership, and we love y'all and we appreciate y'all. And Cleveland is the greatest city. Y'all been great to us, and we are so happy to continue to do this for you guys. So appreciate you all for y'all love and support.
Y'all already missed the opportunity to make him wear a portable urinal.
Yeah, right.
That's not. It wasn't. He needs.
Tyvus is so bothered by this.
Because it's not.
He's so bothered.
It would be different if G. Bush said it. It would make sense. But this guy went to this bathroom the same amount of time as me.
That doesn't matter. We're not talking about that. You're the most recent one.
But
to
you
do
did it today. That's
And
true.
I'm glad both started final takes earlier, else I might be doing it in about 6 minutes.
You're up, Jason.
Jason, you're up.
My final take has to do with the Guardians. I've been putting it off for a couple days, but this is an important offseason for the Guardians for one reason that we haven't really discussed very much. Steven Kwan, Oscar Gonzalez, Andres Jimenez. Lock all three of them up. The time to do it is right now. I know Kwan's coming off his rookie year, Oscar Gonzalez a half a year. Now's the time to get these guys. The agents are telling players, pass on long-term deals. Don't give away your free agency years. Take this thing all the way through, get to arbitration, make some money, and then hit free agency. The time to do it is when these guys are early in their careers. If they don't sign them now, they may have already missed the opportunity. And I know that sounds crazy, because and this is the risk in doing this now. You have to start doing it earlier in their careers, and you may have a miss. Eloy Jimenez from the White Sox signed a 7-year deal, I think it was, bought out all his arbitration years before his first at-bat in the major leagues. So that's where we're at with this. If you want to build sustainability, if you want to build that thing that can last for years and years and years, you have to start right now. We've already talked at length about how they missed it on Shane Bieber. They tried, it didn't work. Shane's time in Cleveland is probably limited because of it. Andres Jimenez has, I think, 4 years of control left. Kwan's got 5 left. Gonzalez has 5 left. Sign these guys now to 6-7-year deals worth $50 million or so. The Guardians can afford that. The players likely, I think, would take that because they weren't big signing bonus guys. They haven't made a ton of money yet. Now's the time to do it. Lock in this core and really build yourself a championship run over the next half decade.
Yes, indeed.
G.
When I'm gonna
Are
get
you on the phone bowl?
No, I had to hear something really quick.
He's
was
giving people
inappropriate.
crap
My
for going
bad.
to the bathroom. He's taking phone calls on the
Yeah, dog.
No, it wasn't a phone call.
Hey,
Yeah,
give me the Titans 2.5.
I had to listen to this 2-second video real quick because it could have affected my final take.
final
Although
take, right.
I forgot
G,
I'm talking
push
about
you
my
up.
son in my final
So,
take.
Push you up.
so yeah, I'm gonna just give y'all a little advice out there, man. And I had to take it for myself, man. Stop talking to stupid people. like.
Zach, can leave it? Well, never mind.
Don't be like don't engage with lames. Like they always say, keep them squares out of your circle. Like, you know, you be on the internet, you be checking these dudes, and a lot of people be having eggs or one letter for their name. And you can always tell when they coming from a mile away, bro. We talking about the game and they'll get on. We always find, you said that word incorrectly. You should use proper English. No, you should go jump off a now. Don't say that yet. Don't do that because somebody might actually do it and say you told them to do it. At the end of the day, man, these dudes out here clout chasing. Everything is for these random likes. They want to get 6 likes off of you. Great. Let them get the 6 likes. But just be realistic about it. Everybody sitting at home, they probably ain't did one push-up. They probably don't got no job. They probably don't be working hard. They probably don't never talk to their kids. They probably is not really a good wife, a good husband, either war. Because you on the internet starting and stirring up trouble with random people talking about sports. At the end of the day, you can't convince nobody that the world is not flat. You can't convince somebody that the election was not stolen, and you can't convince somebody that aliens aren't part of a secret cabal government and it used to use as a mind control coming through the television.
I could believe the aliens before the first two.
I would too.
Yeah.
I would
I
too.
can't believe I got 12% of the vote.
And
Boom, you know what going on with that.
And you know what just goes to show you, it ain't about what's really real. It's all about how many people can co-sign what you did, right? You see that? Your list was great.
I know it was.
By the way, those eggs and one-letter Twitter people are now, thanks to Elon Musk, they're gonna have check marks.
Oh,
for
they got this. They're gonna verify them check marks.
$20.
Verify it, do it up. But at the end of the day, don't argue with people. Save your time, energy, and effort. Protect your peace. Word to my man Jims.
Who's Jim's?
If you know, you know. Tybus know who Jims is.
You know Jim's is?
Shout out to RBE. Shout out to you know what I'm saying, Red Breed Entertainment.
You gotta get out
Bull?
more.
I got to get out more. Now,
You gotta start
I want to
searching
stay
the
in more.
internet.
Yes, so I want to say that I am extremely proud of my son today. I'm proud of him every day, but extremely proud and excited for him today. So, as many of you know, he was in with us a couple of weeks ago, and he auditioned for a show at the Beck Center in Lakewood, and the show began today. Today's performance was only for school-age kids, so I didn't take the day off to go, but he had his first performance. I can't wait to get home and see how it went. But the show is a version of Canterbury Tales. It's a comedy version. It's all kids' performance. I'm a little insulted. None of my colleagues asked me for tickets, but what are you going to do?
I didn't put that on the board, bro.
Sure did.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, the performance, there are still some tickets left if anybody wants to go. Tomorrow night, 7:30, Saturday night, 7:30, and Sunday at 3. And my son is is in one of the scenes. There's 13 different scenes, and he's in one of them. And I'm so proud of him that at 9 years old, a lot of the kids that are performing are between 10 and 15, and there's a few kids that are like 9 and 8. But I went there I had to be there yesterday. I was volunteering to help out as they were doing their final dress rehearsal, and the fact that he and all of these kids are so brave that they're willing to get up on stage in front of a few hundred people at such a young age, and they were great. I was impressed by how good they were in this final dress rehearsal yesterday. So if anybody's thinking about going, please do. The tickets are relatively cheap, and it's a great thing that we have the Beck Center in Lakewood for kids from all over the area. You don't have to be from Lakewood to go there. They teach dance, they teach ballet, they teach acting, they teach singing, they teach music. It's a fantastic place, so support it if you can. But I'm so proud of my son for getting up there, and I'm excited to see him perform the next 3 days. There you go.
Awesome.
Wish him a good luck and break a leg from the entire UCSS crew.
I appreciate
He's gonna kill
that.
it. Aaron's gonna kill it. He did the monologue here. He was.
Well,
fine.
that was the monologue from Uncle
Yeah,
Buck.
but I'm just saying, we saw
Not
his
from the
acting
show, but-
prowess. The dude's going to be a stud.
Thank you.
We trying to get that
Yes.
podcast with him.
That's right. We're going to work on it. By the way, I don't blame anybody for not wanting to go because I wouldn't go see another kid's show if it wasn't my kid. But
I mean, that's to invite you to my kids.
We got DeQuell tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to do some No Fence Riders around the NFL edition.
Yeah.
We're going to preview the Cavs West Coast trip coming up. We're going to have a lot of fun. And it's Friday, guys.
And if you're a member, coaches tier member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, stick around because in 3 minutes,
I got a piece.
Yeah, we got to do a full
we
bathroom
should
break
do
and
it. No, we
Five
should
minutes?
do it right
It'll take
after.
5 minutes. We're going to hop on.
We
with our
should do
bonus
it
overtime
right
concept.
after and
in
make Jason
5
sweat.
minutes, in 5 minutes, we will come back for our bonus content for only the coaches tier subscribers. We're going to do 10 extra minutes for you in 5 minutes, 12:58, 12:59. We'll see you then from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Look at it. Look at it.